what though. Them niggas was lame in that last shit. This nigga Barbie goes on her first trip looking at us.
380.
Bro, y'all didn't even know. That's the thing, bro. That's how I know y'all just be on these panels yapping, bro. They just be on these panels yapping. Abundance, y'all, welcome in. You know what I'm saying? We be trying not to go live all the time, right? We be trying to, give back to other panels. Them niggas don't even let you talk. Yeah.
Abundance.
Why would you go? See what I'm saying? You periodic cell. Get it out of here, please. So we just really just chit-chatting. We just wanted to tap in with y'all. Y'all can tap and share. We can talk about anything. I just put this up here. But I put this up here because 95% of y'all are asleep. That's a fact. Like 95% of y'all are having a problem with seeing the clear truth, the clear issue here.
Yeah.
And that's why I was saying we were just on a panel with people. Somebody was saying something about religion, right? And saying that religion started with so-called black people. And he gave an example. So I said, okay, can you give me a time frame of that example that you're giving? And he couldn't. He telling me to go do my own research, but I'm asking you a question for a reason. You see what I'm saying? And he was trying to deflect. And so the host says, oh, well, that was 300 AD. I said, okay, 300 AD was 1700 years ago. Oh, that's not how time works. Excuse me?
What?
Excuse me? So you do know that AD means after death. We're talking about a particular time of history, a particular event or era.
Facts.
She was like, oh, I don't think you're saying it right. It's really 1,700. That's what 1723. That's the same. I'm like, you know what? I got to dip. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got to dip, like, all the way dip out. Like, I don't know. The serotonin crew, y'all kind of let us down today. I ain't even gonna cap. Like,
yeah, I was very disappointed. Like, you know what I'm saying? They couldn't even debunk this Muslim that was trying to.
Yeah, a 18-year-old Muslim that didn't even know, child.
It was just crazy, man. But what we talking about is that our people are asleep. We don't know our purpose. We don't know our identity when it's literally in our genetics. You see what I'm saying? We try to find everything outside of ourselves. You see what I'm saying? This is why we're not elevating. This is why we're not ascending.
Facts. And it's like Lil Pabs or whatever that G-A-Y ass name that you got. I can't even say it because they're going to take my ass down. But you realize that you have found me every day for the past 12 months and you come in here? You realize that? For the last 12 months, you have been in every single live. And the live has been about how we're not the same species yet. You have not proven to me. You haven't. You come to every live and you have not debunked us. Yet you are down in the comments again today. Do you have any facts today? Let's see. Let's see if Lil Pabs. Let's see if Lil got any facts. Are we the same species? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Nah. Explain to me scientifically, biologically, and genetically, please.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you want to, you and I can take a DNA test and we will have 99.9% of our DNA shares.
No, we would not.
You want to do it? We can make a bet.
False. I'm not going to make a bet with you, nigga. I don't even fucking know you and I don't care enough to do that. I don't have to take a DNA test for me to tell you that I'm the same species. I can look at your phenotype and I can tell that we are two completely different phenotypes. We're two completely different organisms. We call a lion because it is different than a giraffe, right? The name means nothing, but that is two completely different types of genetic material. And both of those animals that are expressed phenotypically, correct? So when I look at you, I see actual fur, 3 structures versus my 2. That's what makes me have actual hair, ether.
Exactly.
Right.
Your phenotype is determined by your
genetics.
DNA, your
facts.
DNA that you're
have
talking
to fucking
about.
take a DNA test for that, nigga.
Yep. Watch this. Watch this simple question that absolutely demolishes everything you're saying. In taxonomy, where do you classify?
I'm not
if you don't have a classification, you can't say you're a different species.
I'm not a part of taxonomy We're not the same
There you
species
go.
because I'm not the same as you. The speciation is referring to you because y'all are actual animals. Well, that's why I don't refer to my people as female and male, because that is relating to animals. We are feminine and masculine. There is no classification or anything that you could put us under, which is the reason why y'all have us listed differently in several of y'all's I can't even talk right now. Y'all have us listed as different things. We don't have the same genetic material, so there's no way we can be the same species, period.
And that's how you differentiate all species in nature.
In nature, bro.
It's through their phenotype and
Facts.
DNA.
And then you
Is that
can,
it?
then
That's
you
it?
can, then your people, because y'all are primitive, have decided to dissect and cut into everything, which is how we even know the different genetic material that exists in different organisms. Other than that, it didn't matter, because guess what? Now, what is a fact? That there were only prokaryotes on the planet. So all these classifications and taxonomy and species didn't matter until when the eukaryotic cell came into play, which is you. There's no scientist, there's no historian, there's no geneticist, there's no climatologist, there's no evolutionist, there's no neurologist, there's no scientist or historian on the planet that can tell us how the eukaryotic cell got here. Yet you come on my panel every day for 12 fucking months, still trying to debunk me, and you've sat back and watched me debunk biochemists, biologists, doctors, geneticists. But what have you brought? You're still asking me the same question you asked me 6 months ago, and you've been debunked.
Facts. You haven't said nothing intellectual, bro. You haven't given us no intellectual fact about how we're the same, because we're not. We can clearly see it.
Go ahead, Divine Masculine. Go ahead, brother. Join in. Abundance Ether. Abundance, y'all. Welcome in, y'all.
What's going on? Yeah, I wanted to see what they had to say, because that's all I was coming in to see what they was going to say. But peace and light and abundance for everybody for having this platform and shedding light on everything.
Yeah, abundance. So
We're just gonna go on a big ass long monologue again.
Yeah, go ahead and
okay,
explain to me genetically, scientifically, and biologically how we're all the same species.
So I already know that you have never spoken to a biochemist or an evolutionary biologist. Evolutionist
I have on
isn't
here.
a field of research.
I
It
have
isn't
on
a
here,
thing.
and I actually
isn't a thing.
research everything that they put out.
So how is it that you didn't bother looking up evolution?
All
of
lives are
eukaryotic
recorded,
cells?
sir.
Because on Google Scholar I have found
all lives are recorded, nigga. I don't have to lie to you. That's the thing. All my lives are recorded.
Here's a paper on the origin of eukaryotic cells. Here's multiple papers. I don't know how you haven't found this if you've, quote, done your research.
Oh, of course. There is definitely a start date on when
Origin
you niggas
and
entered
early
the planet.
evolution of
There's definitely a start date when you niggas entered the planet. But again, what is the etymology of eukaryotic? Doesn't it mean truly seeded nucleus? So of course y'all were truly
I thought we were talking about biochemistry. Why are you
Of
talking?
course y'all were truly seeded into reality. That's all we're saying. What we're saying is y'all were not here. Y'all did not evolve with the planet. Every scientist in the world is saying that.
Yep. Every
So
scientist.
do you just like interrupt it and mute everyone like whenever you
You're
feel
on
like?
my live, so yes, when I want to speak,
enough,
I'm
fair
gonna,
enough.
yeah, absolutely. My lower brain is not bigger than my upper brain, so I know how to wait until
Your
people are
lower
done.
brain is
I know how to wait until people are done speaking and then speak afterwards. Okay, I don't operate in the amygdala part of my brain, bro. You do, because that's how your brain is structured. That's how you organs work. So again, explain to me scientifically, genetically, and biologically how we're all the same species. Go ahead.
You keep saying you're prokaryotic. Let me ask you a question. Do you know what
You keep not
prokaryotic
asking
cells
my
cannot
question.
do?
You keep not answering my question 12 months later. 12 months later. Lil Pass, you have not answered our question 12 months later. You realize that? On my panel, on Denzel's panel, on Monique's panel, you didn't. Why haven't you answered our question?
I thought you operated on something higher, yet you keep muting and interrupting me. You are not letting me.
Yeah, you operated
You're
something
interrupting
lower,
me.
so I
You're
have
doing
to
it
fucking
again.
mute you.
You're doing it again.
Stop.
I
Why
could have
don't you answer
sworn
the
you
question?
operated on a higher level. I could have sworn.
Answer the question.
Yet you're both
Just answer the
interrupting.
question.
Yeah, I got you. If you stop interrupting and muting me, I can. You keep saying you're prokaryotic. What can't?
Explain to me how we're the same
You see, you
scientifically,
keep doing it. You
genetically,
keep
and
doing it. You
and
keep doing it.
biologically.
You
Explain
keep
to me.
saying
Don't
that you
ask me a
function on a
question.
higher level, yet you're.
Don't ask me a question when I'm asking you a question. That is called deflecting. All right? Answer the question. It's 37 people in here that want to hear you answer the question.
Yeah, I have addressed it, and this is your answer. When I try to address what you say, this is how I do it. I ask you, what is your classification? You don't have one. When I try to ask you about any function of your body, you won't answer it. When I ask you to do a DNA test to show everyone here that you're vastly different, you won't do it. You aren't interested in learning. You aren't interested in anything like that. You just want to regurgitate what other people say, and you want to think that you're better than everyone else. What can't prokaryotic cells do? I'll tell you.
Ask me the question.
They can't undergo mitosis or meiosis. Do you know what any of those things mean?
Facts. Prokaryotic cells don't split through mitosis. They split through binary fission, and that's what happens inside of the black anatomy. And that's the same thing that happens with nuclear fission with the sun, which is why we are a representation of the sun. We are
Yeah.
nitrogen, helium,
Oh my
carbon,
God.
oxygen, and nitrogen. This
Yeah,
is what the
y'all
same
are
thing that the
sulfur
sun
and
is
ammonia
composed
base.
of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
y'all are
the
sulfur and
sun doesn't
ammonia
undergo
base.
nuclear fission.
So okay, so what the? You're
Yes, it does.
done.
It
You're
undergoes nuclear
done.
It's
fission and
nuclear
fusion.
fusion. You got it wrong.
It's
Sorry.
both.
Bro, it's both.
No, it's
Dummy.
fusion.
What?
It's nuclear fusion.
Then explain coronal
So
mass
what is going
ejections.
on?
How about you listen? Right? Why would you?
Yeah, why would you?
Like, come on, y'all. Wait a second. We're having a discussion. I'll get to
And
everybody in a second.
you say you
But
don't know.
you just said that the sun doesn't undergo fission, and I'm
Right here.
literally
Right here.
like,
It's a quick Google search. You're
then
wrong.
explain
Just admit you're
coronal
wrong.
mass ejections.
Just admit you're wrong.
Explain coronal mass ejections.
Just admit you're wrong. It's right here. I just looked it up.
Explain coronal mass eject. They teach
Just
you
admit you're
binary.
wrong. I looked it
They
up.
teach you fission and fusion in fucking school. Fuck is wrong with you, bro?
The sun generates energy through nuclear. What does this word say?
Fusion, which
What does this
turns
word
to
say?
what?
Sorry,
The
what does
splitting
that
of
word
atoms
say?
refers to what, bro?
What does that say?
The splitting of atoms refers to what, bro?
You.
The splitting of atoms refers to what, bro? What is all of that ball of gas is made of what, bro? That fuse together and then they do what, bro? Like, come on,
Mainly,
bro.
I
You're
think the
done.
sun is
You're
mainly.
done. You're done. I can't believe a grown man. I've actually never heard somebody say that.
And
I've never
he
heard
tried to
somebody
say that we never told him what we was and stuff. We told him that we are prokaryotic cells.
Exactly.
That's why you knew to say prokaryotic
That's why you knew
cells.
that.
That's why you knew what to say. You know that we say that we are prokaryotic cells and you are eukaryotic cells. Our cells cannot be cut into.
Facts.
Your cells can be, which is why eukaryotic cell means truly seeded nucleus. You can put genetic information in or chromosomes in and take chromosomes out or genetic information out. You can't do that with us. You cannot do that with us. This is why our phenotype is always going to be the same, even 1,000 years from now. Their phenotype has been changing because there's genetic splicing that's been taking place.
Facts.
Answer that question for us. You're not answering.
You're not
that.
answering no questions. You just coming up
You see
here
what I'm
asking
saying?
more questions, and you haven't answered a question for 12 months.
So now we got to move to the
To
next
guest. She left. So go ahead, Nine Rise. Nine Rise, go ahead.
Yeah, bro. I mean, like, go ahead about what? Like, or what we're talking about? What the
What was
pictures
your reason
over?
for coming up?
Huh?
I'm asking you, what was your reason for coming up?
To speak about what the post says.
Okay, go ahead.
Can I ask why you believe 95% of the spiritual community is asleep?
Because 95% of the spiritual community can't even define spirituality. They don't even know what spirituality is and how it relates to them. They don't even know what's happening right in front of them. They're still physical people. They're not spiritual at all. People know spiritual things about spirituality, but that doesn't mean that you that you know thyself. And clearly, even when we're talking about genetics, you don't know thyself, because if you've explored your etheric body, your spirit body, then you also understand how it relates to your physical body. So it's like, how deep have people really gone? And when you begin to talk to people, they haven't really gone as deep.
Okay, so where does the number 95 come from?
Talking to people over my life, seeing the state that the world is in, I can make the plausible percentage to me is 95%. And that 5% that's left, 2.5%, half of that is niggas waking up. And the 2.5% that's left after that are the niggas that are actually woke. That 2.5% that's waking up can be swayed to be the 95% easily. So, like, it's not about a chosen one. Everybody think that it's somebody that's supposed to be chosen. It's really the one that chooses thyself. I don't need, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just, we're
Yeah,
missing it and it's right in front of our face.
yeah, I agree with that. But I also feel like we, well, I'm not going to say we, but I also feel like the spiritual community, I feel like they're also getting misled by all these TikTok creators as well. I feel like that's another reason because of it. Because look,
Right.
it's a certain
That's what
amount.
I'm talking about.
It's a
90,
certain.
if you look at the spiritual community on TikTok, that is fake spirituality.
Yeah, of course, but it's a certain amount of like TikTok creators who control the spiritual community, the community. So yeah, bro, I just think people gotta do their own research, bro.
So what percentage would you say? Facts. You have to explore thyself. That's what doing the research is. But if you're exploring what somebody else is saying, you're not knowing thyself. You're knowing someone else's truth, and he probably believing in the word lie is in belief. So again, we don't know thyself for real, and that's fair for me to say. I believe.
Okay, I would say the spiritual community. I wouldn't label it as a community. I would label it as an occult
They don't
because
know that.
a lot of the stuff that they are being taught is a lot of satanic shit.
Yeah, but they don't know that.
Yeah, of course
So
not.
again, 95% of them are asleep. That's still being asleep, not knowing.
I wouldn't say 95% of the spiritual community. I would base that like on the whole world.
True. I mean, I can see that. I mean, we can do the word salad, but what I'm saying is, what of people that call themselves spiritual, 95% of those people are asleep. That's what I'm talking about. The world is not even, everybody in the world doesn't consider themselves to be spiritual. There are lots of people who believe in religion. That's what I was talking about earlier.
I got a question for you. So, since we feel this way, right? What's our resolutions and what's our way to move forward to combat it?
You just gotta spread the right knowledge, bro. You gotta see what's going on. You gotta understand what's going on, how people being lied to, and hopefully that'll give you like some
Yeah,
type of
that's not the
spark.
research. I said, what's the tools, equipment, and resources we're going to use to combat it?
I'm telling
I
you,
didn't
you're
say
not letting
what
me
the
finish.
problem was.
You're
We
not
know
letting
what
me
the
finish.
problem
This
is.
what I'm telling you. You gotta let me finish.
You start speaking on the
And
problem,
so
then.
that should hopefully give you some spark or motivation, and that right there should make people want to go. And if you're trying to change spiritual community, you got to expose the lies. You got to do your own research, use your own tools, your own research. You got to
No, it
dig
goes
into
back
the
to what she
lies. You got
said.
to expose the
Is
lies,
know thyself. You got to go inside. You have to go inside. Everybody has to go inside.
bro. Okay,
Inside.
bro. You're just saying inside. You don't even know what that means, bro.
Inside. You got to
You,
go to your shadow, to your darkness inside. That's what inside. That's your whole other universe. That's what inside is. I know what it is. That's
bro.
why I brought it up.
There's two different ways to do it. Okay, you're speaking upon the spiritual way because if we're talking about inside ourselves, the spiritual way, that's not physical. If we're talking about the physical, you have to physically do your own research, expose these old lies, and everything will start changing. Because
Yes, so you
if
have
no
to
one
know
exposes the
thyself.
lies,
You
then
have to
everybody
go
wants to believe
inside.
in the
You
lie.
have to control thy emotions. You have to control thy
Yo, you sound older than
feminine
me, and you
principle.
talking
You have
over
to
me, bro.
control thy masculine principle. You got to control in
You
and
want some
out. You
feminine
got to
shit? Stop
control the
talking over
feelings of
niggas, bro. You a
everything. So
grown
as you
ass
have to
man.
know thyself.
Niggas is grown men talking over niggas, bro. Be mature, bro. Come on, G.
you just ain't saying, you saying the same thing and you coming back into a circle. So it's like, I don't do the circles. You know what I'm saying? I speak direct to the point. That's why I asked the question and then you didn't give the answer. So then it's like, you
I
know what I'm
did give
saying?
you
You don't really got nothing.
I was answering the question she asked. She said, how do we change the spiritual community? I just told you the way.
I didn't ask you that. He did.
So you did it. So what did you ask me, Skywatcher? What did you ask me then?
I didn't ask you a question. He asked you a question. I
You
was
didn't
telling
ask me
you.
nothing.
You asked me.
You didn't say how are we supposed to change the evolution or the revolution of it. These words didn't come out of your mouth.
He said that to you, brother.
I
I
asked
was
you the
talking to
question,
I
bro.
you
hope this
about.
live
I
is
was.
recorded. I hope this live is recorded because
All lives
you're
are
sitting here
recorded,
saying here
bro.
that
I
okay.
wasn't. I
So
was
go
on
back on
mute,
this live. Go back on this.
bro. Don't tell me how to run my panel, bro. You got two niggas plus the chat telling you that he asked you the question, bro. I did not ask you a question,
Bro, are you retarded? I
bro.
clearly
Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna. You're not gonna. Yeah. Have you wasn't adding to the conversation anyway? Then gonna ask me if I'm the R word. F1 in the
Now you
chat
want to
because
try,
of
yeah,
Black
talk about
Alive.
somebody. You can't
He
do
asked
that.
you a question. I was on mute.
Like, what is wrong with these
Like, what the fuck
people?
is wrong with you, bro? Your psyche is connected to your genetics. If you're consuming meat, processed foods, if you're consuming and thinking and acting and moving like the eukaryotic cell, you will never see the truth, bro. And you are chemically imbalanced. Period.
And if
Know
you
thyself.
continue
Like
to
the
do
fuck?
that, you will have to recycle. Your anatomy wouldn't be able to take the radiation. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm sorry, love. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Everything kind of went that way, but it's just like that's the way it's going because our people still kind of really not really researching, not really knowing nothing. They just passing on information, and it's like, what the hell? Like, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? And it's just like we plan. It's like they playing right into their hand, and I ain't standing for that shit.
Right.
For sure.
When we say know thyself, is knowing your genetics.
Yeah, all the way around the world, we have been the people who turned into the people who don't know anything. You know what I'm saying? For our men and our history. You know what I'm saying? So now it's time for us to actually, while the information is here, digest it all and get as much as we can and take what kind of resonates with us and leave the West. We are like, you know what I'm saying? It's like we don't just kind of just hear something and be like, okay, that's right, that's okay, yeah, that's what it is. No, you got to get all the way down to the bottom of it, and then you know what I'm saying. Once it kind of kind of conforms with us and our energy, then we could kind of move on with it. Not just to be mere followers or not nobody that can kind of feel anything or know that they could get a confirmation from their own self or be able to kind of sit in a stillness and just kind of see. You know what I'm saying? But it's like our people is just kind of so impression.
We're not going within. We subscribing to everything outside of ourselves, period. We subscribe to religion, we subscribe to food, we subscribe to them telling us that we're all the same species, knowing full fucking well that we're different than these niggas. And we don't ever explore that difference. We explore and exhaust their history. We're like, oh, historically this, but not understanding that that's his story, which is his narrative. Genetics is telling her story. Because scientists and historians all over the world are saying that so-called black people came from Earth's evolution. There is no explanation for the eukaryotic cell besides somatic parthenogenesis.
Artificial.
Artificial parthenogenesis. Any word before parthenogenesis is artificial. And there's professors, you see what I'm saying, that have 1,300 public publications. 800 of them are relating to introgression and hybridization. Like, you niggas were created in a fucking lab. That's what eukaryotic means. Truly seeded nucleus. Someone edited these people into reality. You should be able to biosynthesize the sun. Vitamin D is not biosynthesization. You are a completely different organism. And if we're paying attention, the world is going to be forced to have to talk about genetics. Telling niggas that they native versus another nigga not being native is having an indirect discussion about genetics. Period. These people do not come from Earth, bro. Earth is a planet. Every planet turns into a star. There is no star system, no planet that these people can identify with, bro. Pawns on a chessboard. They were created. Who were the original slave race? It wasn't my people. You see what I'm saying? So you can tell me about eukaryotic all day long. Who are y'all though? Why did y'all just come out of the cave 6,000 years ago on all fours? Like, come on. Hypertrichosis, vestigial tails.
And y'all were on leashes.
Y'all were on leashes, bro.
Y'all creators had you on leashes.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? Y'all don't know how y'all came out them caves, man. That's the problem. And y'all think that y'all just started walking upright.
Facts. Y'all underwent genetic modification, genetic engineering.
Yep.
Y'all went from being on all fours, bro, with
The
tails.
monkey to the Neanderthal to Bigfoot to you. All
All
of that
shit is you.
There was no natural mutation. That's
Facts.
all genetic splicing to get to those different stages. That's a lot of years of genetic splicing to make you the modern you. That's what happened. That's what took place on this planet.
Facts. What's up?
What's up, family?
Yeah. What was your reason for coming up? Abundance.
Loving the conversation. Y'all giving it to them raw. I don't hear too many people talk about this. When I first got on TikTok, I started telling people about it. I even have images to prove it's insane. And, you know, people didn't really want to, even like black crowds and lives, they didn't want to get into that part of it, the gene splicing, you know. But that's for real. That's for real. And
Yeah, facts. We all got pictures of them. You can't hide the truth. You know what I'm saying? You can bury it. You can slow people down from getting their hands on it, but the truth was always bound to come out because it's right in front of us. You see what I'm saying? So facts, and I got pictures too, albums of them. You see what I'm saying? Y'all were being born on all fours in the 1800s, bro. That's 2,000 years ago. Like, what the fuck? Like, we not just gonna skip over the fact that y'all are coming out on all fours, and then y'all want to put it under blanket terms like quadrobics. Nigga, no. You're not gonna make a sport out of this shit. You're not gonna make a sport out of this shit just to normalize it. Y'all are the only ones being born like that.
Hey, yo, and the crazy thing about it, they wasn't really in all forms yet. They still was kind of they still was like one hand in front of the other hand, the knee, the toes, you know what I'm saying? They was still kind of crawling like these wild, crazy animal things. I don't know what the heck.
Facts.
you know what? We be on, there's a lot of people, black people be on TikTok. I came into a live one time. It was a female's live. And, you know, there's a lot of like red pillars and passport bros and women who are 3-0 something. I don't know what it is, but we're like giving up on each other when it comes to love and dating. And this one live I joined, this black woman was like, oh, we need to, you know, start. She was trying to encourage everyone to date outside of our race, black women, you know. I'm like, bitch, is you for real? What? What am I going to find out there? It's going to be less than 100% human. You know what I'm saying? And so I just wanted to say, I don't think we need to date outside our race. We could just date outside of our culture. You know what I'm saying? So like we can do that. But as far as going outside of my race, I want a full blood human child, you know, with no,
But
nothing.
I get what you mean, but we not when they're talking about humans, they're referring to them. They're referring to their incomplete dominance, their haplogroups. It's not referring to us. But I know what the sister is. Yeah, I know what the sister is saying. Like, she's saying that she just wants to procreate with another so-called black man.
Right.
Right. And, yeah, and seeing that creates a starseed. Right. So there's based off of what we're composed of, like he said earlier, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, helium, and carbon. That's the same thing that stars are composed of, y'all. Interstellar gases and nanodiamonds. When we're talking about neuromelanin, that is the only molecule that can condense sunlight and is condensed sunlight. So again, when we're talking about your DNA is just explaining the type of melanin that you have. So if we had the same genetic material, we would all phenotypically present the same. But we don't, because there's different genetic material. And the genetic material is, if it's different, means that we're a completely different species because we're not composed of the same genetic material. So when I look at Dravidians or so-called Mexicans that are brown, yes, they are brown, but that is eumelanin and pheomelanin. That's animal melanin. That's not neuromelanin. So just because it's brown, what is it composed of though? Just
Exactly.
because it's dark, what is it composed of though? Because I know people try to come up here all the time and they're like, "Oh well, my great grandmother was so called darker than you." What was it composed of though?
Right.
Right? So that's the thing. The whole world is going to be forced to have a discussion about genetics. Period.
Facts. No
To
matter where you are on the planet, you're gonna have to talk about genetics. It's
facts.
gonna get nowhere on the planet is gonna be comfortable.
Yep.
Everywhere is you're gonna have to be self sufficient and think for yourself and be a free thinker. You
Facts.
see what I'm saying? There is no more phones, no more Google, no more Yandex, no more documentaries. It's just gonna be you and your liquid computer, which is neuromelanin.
Yep.
That's where they got computers from. That's why they got the idea to make computers, because they studied neuromelanin and they try to call it junk DNA.
And
See?
see, I'm sorry, I cut you.
No,
No,
go ahead, sister. Go ahead. I'm
I
done.
was just gonna say this is why we need to do like resegregate again, and at least by 70% or in a percentage where we educate our own, we feed our own, we give our own health care and stuff, because this type of stuff right here is what we need to be teaching in our schools. They can teach what they want in their school, but this is what we need to be teaching in our schools, you know, to let our children know who we truly are, that we are the gods of this planet. You know what I'm saying? So put things in this proper perspective, and then help us understand who our opponents are and why they behave the way they do, because it's in their nature.
Exactly, and it needs to be 100%. We need to split 100% away from them, because everything about them is the opposite of us. Everything about them. You see what I'm saying? So we need to be away from them 100%. But I see what you're saying. You see what I'm saying? I see what you're saying. I'm just for that.
Right.
Yeah,
I
and the
hope
sun
everybody
is
heard that.
yeah, the sun is separating us. So again, we're not gonna have a choice but to separate from these people, because this UVC radiation that's been ground level since 2015 has been breaking down the eukaryotic organism. So again, it's not even just them. It's the animals, it's the plants. This is what UVC radiation does. UVC radiation does, because it's a gene mutating, it's a germ unaliving, it's a detoxifying wavelength, and everything that is not conducive to this planet is what's being removed. So yes, you will see weather anomalies, you see what I'm saying, but there's a deeper purpose that's taking place with Earth's womb, with the sun enforcing universal law. You see what I'm saying? You have to be able to decode what's actually happening in the spirit, because we're in a womb. Never mind how this manifests in the physical, right? Who are you with the body removed? Who is this plane that we're in? What is this outside of physicality? What else is it? It is also spiritual. It gives life. You see what I'm saying? It is the ultimate, you see what I'm saying? It's the universe. This is all divine feminine. So again, and it's the sun, the masculine, that's enforcing universal law. So I'm trying to switch something on the screen, but I can't find the one that I want. I really just wanted to come in here and chime in with y'all. But let me see. How does the panel feel about this? The American Indian versus the African beef in our community really needs to stop. Black people are the same genetically across the entire diaspora. Genetics is the key to higher consciousness.
Wow. I agree with that 100%. I mean, I do. I do agree with that. And I hate that we argue. You know, like, it's so stupid. They say they came up with two slogans to conquer the world. And one is united we stand, divided we fall. That's for them. Their other one was divide and conquer, and that's for us. So the only way we're going to win this thing is if we switch that thing right around, use them same fucking principles. United we stand, divided we fall. We're not united if we want to say, oh, if we want to disconnect from African people and hate on them and cause this tension between us and them, or the Native Americans, us and them. Just all of this is unnecessary. For what? We are not each other's enemy. At the end of the day, we are all, what Dr. Claude Anderson say, Black people globally possess less than 1% of the world's wealth. So us and all this division is just fucking stupid. And if we really think about it, when at first they were just fighting each other, right? And they didn't have nothing to fight over. But then they went out into the rest of the world and saw us living good, and that's when they came to try and attack, right? So, but they realized they was attacking each other, and they can't fight each other and conquer us at the same time. So they came together at that Berlin conference to unite each other against us and to keep us divided. So, like at the end of the day, if they were unaliving each other, genociding each other by a mass proportion. They wouldn't plan, but they was able to put all of that beef aside so that they can come together and unite. Oh my God. That must have took a lot of character and fucking strength. I hate to say they have any kind of character, but it must have took a lot of fucking maturity and strength that our people seem to be lacking right now because we don't understand the importance of it. We never genocided each other, just to say a different way for TikTok purposes, and we never unalive like each other on mass proportion and go to WAR with each other trying to wipe out each other's race. We don't do that stuff to each other. You know, I mean, we may be having little beefs and stuff like that, and we do unalive each other, but it's just not like a war. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we're trying to conquer one another. African Americans or Native Americans never tried to conquer Africa. Africa never tried to conquer America. You know what I'm saying? So we're not each other's enemy. We should stop acting like that, you know?
Abundance.
Yeah,
Why did you feel like
definitely, I agree.
Go ahead.
I agree. I want to say from the standpoint of my standpoint, because I'm out here actually trying to heal the world. You know what I'm saying? So the thing about it is, it's like as the truth continues to come out with like the people who sold certain people in the trading of the slaves or whatever. If we can kind of get the people to not be so scared and fear, like, I guess the things that are going to kind of happen, like within the African, the Jamaican, and, us, you know what I'm saying? And kind of just, get all to the healing and kind of doing our part of it, you know what I'm saying? Inner work, shadow work, and, healing and getting these healing communities and circles getting going. It's like once we kind of start that and get that going, that process could, probably do more than us kind of keep going back and forth, you know what I'm saying? Us, kind of, you know what I'm saying? But we got to kind of get to the place to have the comfortable environment to be able to express ourselves, to be able to let off the sexual traumas and stuff that kind of, hindered us in our upbringing to get us to the point that we at now, you know what I'm saying? My fault about what I said, but
No, you good.
that's how everything happened. You know what I'm saying? What happened to the mother happened to her children. You know what I'm saying? For sure.
And
So
it's a
we
lot
gotta
of
just kind of get to the bottom of that, get to the healing, because we all heal each other and we heal ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So as we continue to kind of, to be able to speak freely and be able to kind of have these circles and have these informative conversations with love and passion and joy and harmony, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna create that.
Right. I know that's right. I like that because it changes the subject. You know, if you get a married couple into a counselor to talk about their problems, they'll be talking to the end of the world, you know? But if you switch their focus on from the things that they hate about each other to the things that they love about each other and make them start actively doing things to build good memories and to show unification, then it just changes the game. It changes the game because what you focus on the longest become the strongest. If we're always focusing on the problems between our communities, we can hash that shit out forever because there's going to always be somebody who got extra stories and then another person to have stories on top of stories. So we'll go on forever, you know. Let's just change the whole topic. Let's just focus on healing, like he said. That was superb.
Yeah, we have to focus on healing, but the aspect of healing that I wanted to bring up is because he said smexual trauma. That is actually how the antigens ended up in our blood. That is the reason why blood types were indeed created, because blood types is just referring to the amount of antigens and the type that you have.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So we only have like people like so-called black people are like, oh, O positive blood is the best blood, but zooborn chimps also have O positive blood, y'all.
Even pigs.
Even pigs have O positive blood. You see what I'm saying? That was because graping took place and that was over time added into our DNA. it added antigens to our blood. Excuse me, let me put it that way. And those antigens is what we're struggling with as a community, feeding antigens and parasites. Parasites think for you. The last 10 to 15 generations are also affecting every decision that you make today.
And there was no mixed babies or any type of mixed babies I think around to the 12th dynasty, and that's like the 12th dynasty.
That's ancient Kemet. That's 4,000
Oh yeah,
years
that's
ago.
4,000 years ago. Yeah, that's only 4,000 years ago, and these people came out of caves 6,000 years ago. So the last 2,000 years, what have they been doing to us for the last 2,000 years? They've been adding antigens. They've been graping us. The Asian man, the Arab man, the white team man, they all did this for a course of 1,000, almost 2,000 years, which is how long they were able, which is how long we were able to see mixed children.
Right.
Yeah, so before 4,000 years ago, there were no mixed children.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And when we talk about speciation, right, and how certain people interbred with other people, y'all like to say interbreeding, but it was by force.
Facts.
Okay, we're talking about grape. All right, and it wouldn't be considered interbreeding if those two beings were the same species, y'all. What are you interbreeding if they are the same species? So we gotta expand our thinking with that. You see what I'm saying? We're not the same species, and this is how they were able to wipe out 2 continents of us alone with venereal disease, because their semen was literally toxic to our women.
Yep.
Took out South America and Australia with semen.
And Egypt.
Like what the in Egypt,
Yep.
northern Egypt, right?
Yeah, they took
Or
all of
northern
that.
Africa, which is
Yeah, they took all of that away just with their phallus alone, just with the reproductive system alone, because they're just like she said, their semen was toxic to our women, and they gave our women zoonotic disease and hemolytic disease,
Facts.
and this is how our women started to unalive. You see what I'm saying?
It's really sad for like because to be forced to grape by something like that looked the way they did back then. Back then they didn't have razors. You guys know that the razor blade industry is like a $28 billion a year industry, and black people don't need to shave that much. You know what I'm saying? But still to this day, if they go without shaving, oh my god. Oh my god, so like, but
Yeah,
just
facts.
to be great by something that
My
is
bad. Go
crazy.
ahead. Yeah,
No,
shaving
you're
is
good.
actually a very good point, my sister, because again, when they came out of the caves, they came out with hypertrichosis, which is, you see what I'm saying? The shaving that if they ask your boss, right? Ask your local CEO to go 2 to 4 weeks with no shaving, and you'll see hypertrichosis. You know what I'm saying? This shit is right in front of your face. Like she said, it's shit like $28 billion industries like razor companies that's covering this shit up. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
Niggas like Nair and hair emollient or whatever the fuck it's called. All of that, they have that for a reason, y'all. Because we don't produce animal proteins, which is the reason why we don't have animal DNA. We have antigens. You see what I'm saying? The JFK Jr. We were just talking about a so-called black lady had just dropped the
Interview between him and her.
yeah, about the C19 and the type of antigens and how less antigens we actually have. Yeah, y'all gotta understand we not the same species for real, because they telling y'all that, and it's coming out right now because it's the Aquarian age. All is being revealed. You see what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
They said we need a different vaccine schedule because
Yep.
our immune system is better than so-called white tea people.
Yep.
Because we have
And I saw that video.
and it only gets stronger when we have less antigens. The less antigens you have, your lymphatic system or your immune system gets stronger. So imagine before we even came into contact with these people chemically, but we had no antigens. Our bodies were just working and operating, functioning naturally.
You
under
could have
the
just
sun.
said something.
See what I'm
Like we
saying?
were having a discussion. You can come back up. We were coming to you next, but we were having a discussion. So, and here, just to state the room, I'm not gonna stop a discussion that we were having currently just because someone comes up. You see what I'm saying? That's how the live is being had. You know, so we just let everybody express their frequency at once, and once we land, then the next person goes out of respect for just letting everybody finish their point and thoughts. So if
It paused. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but the live is paused, host. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, okay. Should we? So yeah, telling you, man, we gotta stay on it. And you know what? That's the reason why they're going extinct right now because of the sun back into word. No, mm-mm. Facts. And like in 2010, 29 or 10, there was a global census done that determined that white people all over the globe is going extinct. So then white people in Europe started paying their women to give birth. Over here in America, around that same time, they started listing all the Mexicans and all the Haitians and anyone coming in our country as Caucasian on their visas. And then so there was a rise in concern. You can look it up. Go the concern from the Mexican population about being labeled a Caucasian on their visa will pull it up for you. And so like the reason why are they doing that? I guess they're just trying to get their numbers up. You know what I'm saying? And statistically, they say that we are a minority, right? But when they implemented the AB stuff into our community a long time ago, our numbers were a certain, I forgot what number it was, but we are around that same number right now. You know what I'm saying? So how after all these years we ain't grown or we haven't shrunk at all? They haven't updated those records. You know what I'm saying? So they're just sticking with the old. But I think that regardless of creating like a motherfucker, and we
my
Hell
bad, y'all,
yeah. Because we
the
don't die,
lot
we
my
multiply. For
can y'all hear
sure.
me?
Yeah, we hear you.
My bad. My phone had unalived. So I do that at least once alive, y'all. My bad. This phone is never charged, and somebody lost the white chargers. So the chargers is like the bootleg chargers that don't charge fast. So,
I see.
but let me try to put um the screen back up. Like
I
I
want to
don't
just
know.
finish this point I was making, sis.
Hmm.
So like so yeah, then that's what they would when the George Floyd situation was going on, the Triple K came out and said, you guys all worried about this nigga, but we're going extinct. They came out and admitted that.
Yeah,
What?
cause they yeah,
What?
cause they been listen, they already been in a frenzy for real. So
Mm-hmm.
now always what they do is they try to transfer it on us because that's how they do it. It's called transference. They transfer it on us
Mm-hmm.
to make us carry it out on each other. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So now you know what I'm saying that they kind of you know what I'm saying they in a shamble and they in a they in a stir to you know what I'm saying. Now they going to try to create the same thing on us so we could kind of project it, but they don't know that we turned the screen off and disabled all the power. You know what I'm
See,
saying?
exactly.
For
And then
sure.
here's my closing thoughts, right? Is
Mm-hmm.
that Joe Biden also came out following the Triple K, and he said that by 2050, America is going to be a predominantly black or brown or minority country. He said we're going to have to give the power over to the Mexicans. I'm like, the Mexicans? Why the Mexicans? You know, why not anyone else a part of their collective European Union? Right? Why not
Yeah.
anyone from any of the other European country? Because
You
it's
want to know
global.
why?
Because they're going extinct globally, and there's no one else that they could pull over here of their pale skin complexion that's going to be able to stay alive. You know,
They're
so
the
that
same. They're the same genetically as them. Like the thing is, with their species, they are incomplete dominant. So they're the same species, but they're not the same amongst themselves. And that is the reason why a lot of couples of the opposite species, they get blood tests and shit like that before they even have a child because of things like the
Mhm.
RH. You see what I'm saying? They're not the same. So basically, you
Mhm.
will have a blonde mother with a so-called brunette dad, and the child will be ginger. And they'll say, "Oh, that's just a recessive gene," but your whole speciation, like everything about you, is recessive. So when you look further into nature, animals, because look, the type of melanin that they have is eumelanin and pheomelanin, which is animal melanin. You see what I'm saying? So you can quite naturally study every animal that they share genetic material with, and you will literally see this expressed in their phenotype. Physically and also behavior is a part of phenotype.
Mhm.
You could be talking to, you know what I'm saying, the pig in a so-called man in the rising, and it could be a fruit fly, literally, because there's at least 5 different animals speaking through one nucleus for a eukaryotic organism like that.
Exactly.
Different
Not.
genetic material that's speaking, or that makes up, that's what eukaryotic means, multicellular.
Hmm.
But
Intriguing.
I don't know why there's somebody in the comments saying that so-called Africans have always been ops. They share the same genetic makeup as everybody else in the diaspora.
They full of crap. I've been seeing them down there. They like the division between us. I'm not with it. We're
I
not
was
with.
looking past it.
Yeah, me too. I wasn't even paying them no attention because
Real
like
red.
we just addressed that division. You know.
Hmm. If it
But
don't
I
need
want to
our
say
attention,
this
we ain't got to
too.
put it
He
there
said
for sure.
Africans has always been his ops, yet we have an inorganic species living on our planet,
Yeah, how
raping our
Yeah.
women and children, and
facts.
experimenting on our women and children to this day.
And it ain't
That's
African
what's
people either.
happening, but he's focused on us, which
Exactly.
is him. It's just another reflection of him. It doesn't make sense. You're just
Abundance,
arguing with
Indy.
yourself.
Like Indy just said, planetarians, like we rule the planet. We were found along all the coastlines.
Hey
So I
yo,
don't know how y'all don't know that by now.
they want us to be so mad with each other and
So
fight with each other
Sark,
so bad.
I just want you to come up here. I already sent you an invite a long time ago.
Me
You type
too.
in, like, you know what I'm saying, paragraphs, and you can just come up here and express your frequency. So if you somewhere where you can speak, come up, because Africans there are Caucasian, like as far as phenotype wise, yes, YT, those are the real Africans. If that's what you're talking about, then I can understand that. But if you're saying Africans, as far as like so-called black people, Africans have animal DNA, you're wrong.
Just like our names is not really African American. It's not really that. You see what I'm saying? That's just a name. It is these names are just names that we has that
What they gave us.
that they've been classifying us as we've been falling in frequency, just depicting the original race. We had a global civilization. We had pyramids. We had pyramids all over the globe, all over the globe, like stop signs. You see what I'm saying? So this was
Right.
a whole global civilization of just so-called black people.
He's
We didn't
saying,
just exist on one landmass. We don't originate from one landmass. There is no motherland. There's only Mother Earth.
facts.
That's
All
it.
the lands
One
on this
mother.
planet is the mother, is a
Yup.
part of the mother. You can't
Exactly.
exclude the rest of her womb
That
and
makes
then
no
just say
sense.
that this is my. And the reason why they tell you that that's the motherland is because that's where they were taught and spliced.
Exactly.
Oh.
If it wasn't for so-called Africans teaching them, they would have never had their golden age. That's the reason why they try to say Mother Africa, because that was their rebirth. That was their birth of so-called higher consciousness. But their higher consciousness is just six ether consciousness, which is animal consciousness.
And then when
But
people
that's
hear that, they think that it was so-called us who spliced them, not knowing that there's extraterrestrial life that is organic to the planet that has been here for thousands of years, splicing animal DNA.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And there's a lot of extraterrestrial life on this planet, and they're the ones who spliced these people or truly seeded these people into this reality.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? When
That's
you
what
break down the word
eukaryotic.
alien, it just means a lie in the north. You see what I'm saying? And that's why that North Pole is moving a lot now. That lie in the north is called Black Rock or Rupert's Niagara, which is the tallest mountain in the North Pole or in the north or in the whole world. It's taller than Mount Everest. And this touches the magnetic field, the ozone layer. And while he pulls energy from there and he pulls energy from the so-called black woman, and another expression of the so-called black woman, which is Earth and her biofield. Now he can have immortality, forever life. And they're not Africans. They're not us. We didn't splice our own DNA um, to do this, because you can't splice our DNA. You see what I'm saying? You can only use our DNA as a generator. And we didn't do that. We didn't create these people. And you can look at the Sumerian tablets, the Sumerian texts, and they're all depicting animal DNA people and talking about how they're the ones who created a slave race to mine gold. And who's the golden race? Where do all the natural resources come from? It comes from our thalamus gland, the command center of the brain, the pineal gland. You see what I'm saying? And we produce atoms and hydrocarbon naturally. And water is life. You see what I'm saying? Carbon is life, and that's what we produce. You see what I'm saying? So the Anunnaki just means those who came from above. It doesn't mean black people. It means those who came from above. It can mean anybody. So-called black people are not the only people existing throughout the whole cosmos.
Yeah, above what?
We're not the only people with intelligence.
Yeah, above what?
You see what I'm saying? So if you look at those Sumerian tablets, and all of these historians and scientists have documentaries of them breaking it down, and they all talk about how these beings made a slave race to mine gold. Why would we make a race to mine gold? Why would we do that when gold comes from us? Gold literally comes from us. All natural resources come from the organic race, the golden race. So why would we create a species to mine gold on our own planet? If every planet biologically identifies with us, why would we make a species to do that? Only somebody who doesn't have real ties to the planet had to do that. Somebody who ain't us had to do that. You see what I'm saying? And then these Sumerian gods that they show you have animal DNA and wings. Black people, we don't have any animal DNA or no wings. Our people gonna come out them skies, they gonna look just like you, just bigger, taller, but the same phenotype. You're gonna know, oh, that's a brother, that's a sister. You're gonna know.
Yep. Facts.
But when they have animal DNA, that's not us. That's not us. That's who created these species.
Right.
So if you're gonna say it's us that created them, come up and explain that to me. Why would we create a race or a species to mine gold on a planet that we biologically identify with, and gold comes from us? That's why when you see in the sun, when we stay out there for 2 hours, you see our skin glistening like we have glitter. That's nano diamonds.
Go
what I'm
ahead,
saying?
laughs and giggles. Welcome back.
Yeah. So basically, they not like us, right?
They're
They're
different
not us.
species.
So it's like, so they're not us. So okay, they're not us, but it's a lot of our people who don't even know like our whole genetical makeup, right? And it's a bunch of them, by the millions, at a high percentage. And they'll try to make me feel bad because I don't want to go and make a baby with an Asian, Chinese, Japanese, Arab, or Caucasian woman. And then they'll say some stuff like, well, love is love, and love is blind and don't have color. And I'm like, how does that match up with everything that I got going on, with my gene pool and everything, how I'm connected with everything, and I'm looking at a lesser species than me?
No,
How
that's
does
right.
that? You think I'm gonna put love in front of that? That's fake love. You see what I'm saying? It's like, and then you got all these people shooting all these interracial commercials. They want my woman, and then they want me to chase their woman. Every time I
Right.
look on TV, I see them paying for commercials and movies and everything, and they show my woman chasing down all the Caucasians and Asians and everything. And then they
Exactly.
show the black man chasing down the Caucasian woman, YT woman, Arab woman, Chinese,
Yeah.
Korean, all these other women. And I'm like, but then my people that get on here and try to tell me I'm wrong. Like, what? Do you even know who you are?
No, that's right, bro.
And you gonna back me into a corner because I don't want to plant my seed inside these other. Then they do this right here. Oh, you racist. How I'm racist? Because I know facts.
Facts.
At one point in time, when they didn't want us to go to school, they said we had monkey and iron genes. They were calling us monkeys. Right or wrong now.
Right, right.
But then when our brothers and sisters do our own research and go in-depth research, and we go to looking and start seeing like, whoa, all the rest of the nations got this animal stuff. We don't got that.
Right.
Now when I bring it up, now they want to say I'm racist for calling them out. I'm speaking facts. The facts that you heard about me, and then they try to make like we got the monkey and they don't got the monkey genes. All the rest of the nations try to make like they don't got all the animal genes, but just we do. And they hold it over our head for years and years, all in school. But now since I'm coming out and I'm calling them like y'all the real animals, like y'all got all this Neanderthal, whatever the fuck, y'all got all that. Now my own people to tell me, oh, don't say that, don't talk to them like that, and you're being very fake. I'm speaking facts. Oh, you care about their feelings now, but they ain't care about our feelings for all these years. And I'm just bringing out truth. It ain't like I'm just throwing shade just to be saying it. I'm speaking to the whole genetic makeup.
What is your genetic makeup, buddy? What is your genetic makeup?
My genetic makeup is right there. When you look right there, you see that picture right there with that woman. You see that picture of that woman right there?
666.
Yeah.
That's just telling us what carbon is. What is your genetic makeup?
But when you speak about carbon, everybody don't possess that, and everybody don't possess neuromelanin.
Okay, let me tell you.
Everybody is not directly tied to the planet.
Right, let me tell you this.
Like from a genetic makeup.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking
Every organism, no matter if you're eukaryotic or prokaryotic, in order to exist, you need carbon.
Facts.
You need carbon to exist. That's what you need to vibrate at 432 hertz to exist in the physical realm, and you need carbon to exist. So they have carbon, but how much they don't have a high amount of carbon like we do. They have a tinty bit amount of it, which is how they're able to exist. Which is how they're able to have be present here through electrical
How are
fusion.
you saying that Africans don't have carbon, bro?
So
like every being, like, bro.
That's when we say, brother, what is your genetic makeup? What is
Africans? I never
Why
said
you
Africans.
Africans so bad? What's up with him?
I never said Africans.
Nah, we're not talking to she was addressing somebody in the chat. But I'm asking you, brother, like her question was, what is your genetic makeup?
Right. I'm only asking you because earlier when you came up here, you said that you brought up genetic makeup. So I was just asking you so that way you could state it for the room. Because look, somebody asked in the chat, how do I find out my genetic makeup? Like,
I mean, you're gonna have to research that. You're gonna have to research your genetic makeup. But I mean, you should know that.
I'm asking you a question though. Like, what is genetic makeup? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Okay, so basically, your genetic makeup basically it's almost like you in essence, right? Your genetic makeup will stand out over the rest of the people that's on the planet. I can't even call them people. I don't know what they is. But your genetic makeup is different from theirs. The blood that's in your veins is quite different from theirs. The skin, everything about you is more different than the rest of the nations that's on the planet. You see what I'm saying? You can look at the other nations and see the difference in the genes. You can look at the hair or the fur, whatever they grow on the head. You can look at your hair and tell that you're different from them. Right? Okay,
brother, I hear you. You're explaining the differences. I got you, but all we're asking is what is your genetic makeup? What does that mean? What does that mean? What is that equivalent to? That's the question she's kind of asking.
I don't think he honestly know. Like, so why don't you guys explain?
No, we just want him to say he doesn't know that. You see what I'm saying? Just that's how a conversation is. And we could continue the conversation. But your genetic makeup is just the melanin that you possess. You see what I'm saying? That's what your genetic makeup is, or your genetic material, the melanin you possess. And we don't all have the same melanin. So-called black people, the melanin that constructs all of our suit, that our cells follow, that our organs follow, that our organ system follow, that our 12 cranial nerves follow, everything in our body follow is neuromelanin, which is condensed sunlight. You see what I'm saying? And neuromelanin is the only molecule that can condense sunlight, that is condensed sunlight. You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
we can this is how we're able to biosynthesize the sun. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And this is
Kind of like,
and so
like plants.
we're basically the sun walking in the flesh, or the soul walking in the flesh, because neuromelanin is the biochemical substance that our ancestors called the soul, and that's what we are in the flesh. And everybody outside the so-called black race, they don't have neuromelanin. This is why they're born with calcified
Get the
pancreas,
melanin.
and they don't have no neuromelanin production in the third ventricle in the brain, or in the fourth
Right.
ventricle in the.
And
So
that's
that's why I'm saying.
and when you
So
don't
that
possess
they have,
and when you don't
yeah,
possess neuromelanin in the brain, it's kind of like you can't go past a certain level of consciousness.
So again, when we were asking like for the genetic makeup, it's very important for us to know that as people, y'all. You
facts.
Well,
see what
your,
I'm saying?
your,
If we're
like
How
not,
this,
do we
your
learn that about ourselves?
Let her
Where do we
finish.
go?
She was trying to make a very good point, so my people can hear. You see
because
what I'm
I'm gonna
saying?
get to Shine next, and then we'll get to DNA. But
Hmm.
the point that I'm making is just because you can tell me differences about you and someone else does not mean that you know what you are composed of.
Hmm.
And that's very important because if you don't know what you're composed of, that means you don't know what to put in your body.
Yep.
That means that you don't know that there are certain things that you're not supposed to put on your body, that you're not supposed to go in certain environments. If you don't know who you are, pretty much, and I'm applying pressure with this one. If you don't know who you are on a quantum level, on a cellular level, you really don't. It's a lot that you don't know. It's a lot
Yep.
that you don't know because the so-called black people, we are a literal that we are composed of interstellar gases and nanodiamonds.
Yep.
That's the same thing as a star. So why are there stars eating fake ass pigs and cows and chickens when those animals are not conducive to this planet, but somehow they're in their genome?
Hmm.
So it's very important to know what you are composed of. Don't just tell me what you see on a phenotypical level
Yep.
because your phenotype is directly connected to your genotype.
Hmm.
So again, like the original point up here that we had, the original topic was 95% of the spiritual community is sleep. We just changed it to this topic. You see what I'm saying?
So I
You
want to
can
ask
tell me
you.
the differences, but you can't tell me what it is, and we that means that we can't say that we really know thyself.
And so, what are we really teaching the children? What are we really passing on to the next generation if we don't even know who we are? What are we
Facts.
teaching? Who
So
are we? We're not teaching them who they are. This is why it's detrimental for us to know who we really are, and we need to know who we are down to the
so let's
molecular
ask
level,
the
to the
question
atom
again.
molecule.
But I just 1 second, sister. I just wanted to introduce the two new guests. They haven't spoken at all. Go ahead, Shine. I added Shine up here because she said that she was so-called biracial and mixed. Go ahead, Abundance. Welcome up.
Grand Rise and all. Yeah, what you spoke was the truth, though. Honestly, so I'm biracial. I'm a quarter Hispanic, quarter white, quarter Native, and quarter Black, African descendancy. But when we're talking about like energy, the soul, the thing is like when you come as a soul, we come with no labels. We come with nothing to this planet, but we came to like raise the vibrations, technically bring back a mix between the soul and the body, because it's like your bloodline is one thing, but your soul is another thing. But when you combine it into a body, we have supernatural abilities that most people say are fake, that don't exist. And when we go off of labels, because of everything's a label, it brings you further from yourself. And to recognize and go back to, it's kind of like turning off everything around you. Like everything that says like you're this or that, that's not how the soul came here, or the abilities that we come with. So, like what you said, that's true. A lot of people don't know. You know yourself, but do you know your soul self? Them are two different things, but within the same, if that makes sense. And a lot of people lack that. It's kind of like when we came here, we came with a mission, a blueprint, a solarly code. Again, they call it a blue code, which are within the chakra records, which is separate than most humans know about. It's a lot. And then being mixed here, it's kind of like when we go, like me, right? I'm mixed, right? So if I go around like YT people, I'm not that enough, right? When I go around my black descendancy, I'm not black enough. I'm not native enough. I don't speak Spanish, so I'm not Hispanic enough. But honestly, both my parents are biracial. The star family, a lot of people don't understand. Like you guys are seeing the orbs coming, right? They've been here for decades. I've been in communication with them for decades. And it's now new to everybody. And they're like, what is this? What is that? The star family is because some of our souls are not from Earth. Some of our souls extend from other places. And we come here trying to make change, if that makes sense.
So I have a question for you, Shine. So this is the sister asked in the comments too. We're talking about genetic makeup, right? And when we're talking about the soul, everything about spirituality can be defined through quantum science, all branches of quantum science. So when we look at the biochemical substance that we produce in our pineal gland known as neuromelanin, that's what actually gives us the hue as so-called black people. As so-called white people, they have pheomelanin. People like so-called Dravidians have eumelanin. Eumelanin and pheomelanin are both animal melanin. When we're talking about neuromelanin, that is the only molecule that can condense sunlight and is condensed sunlight, and we produce that naturally. All right. So this is the reason why you'll hear people say sun blood, because the sun is the soul. So there is no you in the word soul. Soul is SOL, referring to solar, meaning the sun. Neuromelanin is condensed sunlight. It's the literal representation of the soul. Once you break it down once you break down its biochemical composition. So again, everything in quantum science or that all different branches of science of relating to quantum can be related back to spirituality. So my question for you is, if as so-called black people, we are hydrogen, nitrogen, carbon, oxygen, and helium?
Hydrogen.
Hydrogen, carbon, helium, oxygen, and nitrogen. We're composed of those five things. Everybody outside of our so-called species is sulfur and ammonia based. That includes so-called Mexicans, so-called Indians, so-called white people. They are all sulfur and ammonia based. In order for you to biologically identify with the Earth, with any star, with any planet, every planet turns into a star, you would have to be composed of the same genetic makeup and the same genetic structure as so-called black people. So
I agree to some extent.
Hold on.
So when it comes to you being in communication with several beings, there's several fucking beings that were also created and are eukaryotic and were truly seated here as well. So I'm not sure who you were able to be in communication with, but as far as your genetic composition, your physical body, which is directly connected to your etheric body, how are you in communication with anything that is non-etheric? Considering that you are a
It's being more.
you are a eumelanated, pheomelanated woman. If your mother is YT and her mother was
No,
YT,
she's Native and Mexican. My dad's
again,
Puerto Rican,
so
black and
that
white.
is so again, your mother's genetics is what rules.
Exactly.
It's her chromosomes that rule 100% of the time. It's only the tail end of the sperm that fertilizes the egg, and it's her womb that actually constructs you. And 95% of her DNA is what's making you up. Is what makes you who you are today.
And Native and Mexican is just talking about eukaryotic cell. That's all it's
Facts.
talking about.
Yeah.
It did not
And you are
evolve with the planet, so that's the point. So
exactly.
again, that is six ether consciousness.
So you guys,
You're not
the
one
diff-
of us. Like this is just genetic facts. You're
Because
not
you don't stem from the totipotem stem cell, which is the all.
facts.
hang on. So what I want to tell you guys, growing up and how I grew up in the system, foster care and this and that, I had to connect early with my soul. My soul is separate from the body that I agreed on during the birth process. And I said, I want to be this, I want my parents, I want this and that. But the soul is stronger, that has lived, when they say eternal life, lived. I can't even count how many lives I've had, to be honest, okay? So on the soul level, like I said, I can go outside and I can call stars. The orbs you guys are seeing, I've been seeing them, guys, for the last 20 years. I'm
They've been on the
36.
planet for the last 300,000 years. So I'm pretty
Yep.
sure you've seen them. But what
No,
we're
no,
saying
but I can
is that
call
does not
them.
mean that you
Yeah.
have a etheric connection to those orbs.
No,
Just
no, no,
because
I
you have a
do. Okay,
spirit,
hang on. Hang
hold
on.
on.
I want to tell you what I've experienced.
I just want to respond on my own panel. Okay?
Go
So
ahead.
just because you have a spirit, of course everything has a spirit. Everything living has a spirit.
That's false.
Because
Okay,
okay,
hold on for a
I
second.
first of all,
Hold
don't
on for a
overtalk
second.
me. Please don't overtalk me, y'all. Out of respect, okay? Everything living has a spirit. Everything living has energy, correct? So of course everything has a spirit. But again, just like we were telling the brother up there, everything also has carbon. But what type though? You see what I'm saying? Just because you have a spirit does not mean that that spirit came from Earth's evolution or the mother herself. People are here, animals, plants are here through electrical fusion, which has been around for a very fucking long time as well. If you know that there are extraterrestrials that are here, then you have to know about electrical fusion, babe. You have to.
Yeah,
And
I study. I take
So
it.
we're not done talking. Give me 1 second. I'm almost done. I'm not trying to step on toes.
Yep.
1 second, okay? I'm not trying to step on toes. First of all, we were having a discussion about so-called American Indians and so-called Africans. This is talking about BLK people. In order for you to be considered BLK, if your mother's genetics rule, you are your mother's child. So whatever your mother is who you are. That is 95% of who you are, no matter how you phenotypically present. Race is theoretical and it is not biological. So based off of the genetic material, the genetic makeup that people have, no matter how you phenotypically present, you are your mother's child. So again, if you don't stem from the totipotent stem cell carrier, the so-called black woman, the so-called divine feminine, the womb that we're in is all of our wombs put together. If you don't stem from that, you are here as a byproduct of electrical fusion, which means that you are spirit, six ether consciousness, no soul, because you lack neuromelanin. You were not producing neuromelanin at birth. Your pineal gland was indeed calcified. And that is just a genetic, a scientific, and a biological fact. Go ahead.
And I just wanted to say that so-called black people, we don't have a soul. We are the soul. You see what I'm saying? We are the sun walking in the flesh. Y'all, we can biosynthesize that sun. You see what I'm saying? Y'all can't biosynthesize that sun. Y'all body rejects the sun. The sun is actually trying to heal and regulate all life on the planet. But when it hits your integumentary system, your nucleus gets removed. You see what I'm saying? Your nucleus starts to deteriorate. Your species starts to have neurological issues. And this is why your species is now starting to be erratic all over the planet. They're becoming sterile all over the planet. You see what I'm saying? Y'all unaliving more than being born. This is what's happening to your species. This is an extinction level event that's happening to your species. You see what I'm saying? And all planetary governments has been lying to their eukaryotic organism about how UVC radiation and ionizing radiation damages DNA. But it doesn't damage our DNA because we are that radiation and we undergo black body radiation. Y'all don't do that. So we're not the same
Right,
species.
y'all
This is
undergo
genetics.
acute body radiation, which is
Facts.
something different. Y'all might absorb. Somebody said on here, somebody did a video response the other day to me saying that melanin acts as a solar panel and absorbs it. Look, neuromelanin is the sun, y'all. I don't need skin to act as something. Is it the sun? Is it the sun though? Is it composed of the same thing as the sun? No, it is not. It is not. It did not evolve with Earth's evolution. That's all I'm trying to tell my people.
Facts.
Like the brother said in the comments, I've been disagreeing with him with this whole time. He made one valid comment. Yes, stop drinking milk. One glass of milk has 135 million pus and blood cells.
So imagine cheese.
So imagine cheese that niggas want to sprinkle on top of a salad and want to be happy because they eating a salad. not understanding that kale is also here through electrical fusion. Cruciferous vegetables are here through electrical fusion. Carrots are here through electrical fusion. The earth did not produce those vegetables. So just because they have benefits, just because you are here as a byproduct of hybridization, Shine, does not mean that that is a natural phenomenon.
And that's how
That's all
chickens
I'm
got
saying.
here. That's
And
how
that's a
cows.
fact.
That's how cows got here. That's how sheep got here through genetic splicing of electrical fusion. How do you think they had to perfect it? You see what I'm saying? They had
Facts.
stages to go through. They had to splice insects, plants, animals, and then they got to your ass. They made the Neanderthal, the what's it called? They made the Bigfoot, then they got to your ass. It was a long process for over
Yes.
a 400,000 year process. You see what I'm
Facts.
saying? And that's how long these entities have been here, splicing genetics.
Facts. And
And
then, my bad, go
no, go
ahead.
ahead. No,
Yeah,
go ahead.
because 4,000 years ago, there were no hybrids.
Mm-hmm.
So when we say ancient Kemet is not that ancient at all. That was just 4,000 years ago, 4,015 to be exact. 4,000 years ago, there was no.
Yep. The 12th dynasty. There was
The
no mixed
12th
children.
dynasty, facts. 12th dynasty is
That's just
4,000 years ago.
exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So that's not and these people came out of the cave 6,000 years ago. What was happening in them residual 2,000 years? How
Look,
come y'all's Bible is 2,000 years old? Could it be 2,025 years old, perhaps? But
and look how long
OJ,
look what happened to so-called black people between those 2,000 years, the last 2,000 years, from the 1800s from to now. Look what's been happening. Look how much antigens they've been adding
yeah.
to our blood.
Hey,
Look up when grape was
I'm
legal.
gonna actually put pictures on the
Come on,
screen, but I
man.
need y'all to go ahead and tap F1, and I'm gonna circle back to everybody else. These pictures are cut off, y'all. I haven't saved it to the screen because I'm gonna do a video on these, and then I'll get right back to Shine. But y'all was just still being born like this. This is a man on all fours. You see what I'm saying? This was 1900s, y'all. You see what I'm saying? This lady right here, you can't really see, but you can see that she's on her hands. You see what I'm saying? I gotta fit them to the screen. My people were never being born like this. They're not fit to the screen. You see what I'm saying? My people weren't born like this, y'all.
Oh my God.
You
Can
know what
I
I'm
get
saying?
that?
So
Can you link
I just want to let people know that we are not the same species, and we have to dive deeper into genetics because that is how you begin to know thyself, period. Whether niggas want to do the work or
Yeah, I just want to encourage everybody. We got 51 people in here. If you guys could tap, well, I see you tapping the screen. I want to say we really appreciate it. I'm not even a host or a moderator, but I'm learning so much. So if you're really learning off in here, please gift the host. They are spitting so much knowledge. And so I just feel like their time is so valuable right now. If you guys could please just also start gifting the host would be powerful. So
abundance and gratitude, my sister. Abundance and gratitude for that.
Abundance, mother, abundance.
Abundance. But yeah, we just gotta dive deeper. You see what I'm saying? Because somebody in the chat was like, oh, you can't tell someone about their spiritual journey. I didn't tell her nothing about her journey. I told her about her etheric body and her physical body and her genetics, which is related to your physical body. So
Can I speak though?
yeah,
Have
go
you guys
ahead.
heard of
I asked for
star
you to speak.
seeds? Have you guys heard of indigo children, crystal children? Our
Yes, I have.
souls are not even from Earth. The natives, like my tribe, we were dropped here on this planet from a star system.
Right. Truly seeded
And
nucleus, of course. That's exactly what that
exactly.
means. Yeah.
And
Truly
what I'm
seeded
saying,
into
so
reality and created. Exactly. Electrical fusion. Go ahead.
yeah, and so what I'm saying, like, so my soul, even though my body is my body, some of my gifts, I don't know if it comes from the mixtures I have or not, but I know where my soul comes from. I have like where we
Where
drop
does it come
keys,
from?
a different solar platinum,
Where?
different ones, like, so some of us come from one soul system or star system. Some of us are mixed where we have different star systems in our blood, or not even in our blood, but within our soul entities, right?
What
And
crystals
we
are you
leave
composed of?
codes, right?
Yes.
So you guys, no, hang on. What I want to say is like, so even in your soul, right? We drop keys. So like when you meet certain people, you're in a certain industry or you're in a certain space and you're like, oh my God, I've seen this before. I've seen this before. Your soul leaves keys that unlock at certain points when you meet certain people, certain things, and then certain gifts may or may not come, but your knowledge comes because the soul is eternal. Like the Bible that they say on this planet, right? They say that
Well,
we're
you're not
eternal, we're
explaining the
Mishmash.
soul. What you're explaining is the spirit. You're explaining spirit. You're not explaining soul because you still haven't told me where you come from. I know exactly where I come from. And I don't just come from one star system. As a neuromelanated woman, I don't just come from one star system. The entire cosmos, I biologically identify with the entire cosmos. So you fell for that trap. Thank you. You see what I'm saying? We biologically identify with every planet, every star, every
Every
solar
landmass,
facts, as
everything.
above, so below. So when you're saying, when you were agreeing with me, when I was
So do
saying,
you guys have
hold
gifts
on,
though?
when you
Can
were
you guys?
agreeing, because you have an answer, you already, you see what I'm saying? Everybody in here knows that you are a YT woman. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I want people to understand is genetics. We can go based off of titles all day long, but until we look into genetics, because here pretty soon, all this, you're not native, you go back to Siberia, that nigga not native to nowhere on the planet either. The whole world is about to be forced to have a discussion about genetics. These titles don't matter. They were created by the same people that you share DNA, incomplete, dominant DNA with. Respectfully. That's all I'm trying to get my people to understand is that these niggas are not us. And y'all are not, y'all are, as hybrids, y'all are a completely different species. That's the
Exactly.
newest species on this planet. And
Yep.
again, 4,000 years ago, there was no mixed people, no biracial, nothing. Y'all
Yep.
are new as fuck.
See what I'm saying? Y'all are new. So that's why I was trying
He
to
said
see.
not a safe space.
I was trying to
Facts.
see what do you think the soul is? Because I said so-called black people, we don't have a soul. We are the soul. So if you're not us, you're not the soul. You don't have a soul. You don't come from anywhere on the planet, anywhere else.
Somebody
You're
said,
not natural.
my bad.
It's
Somebody
just
said,
that simple.
clearly y'all don't tap in and meditate, but you want to know something? I tapped in and meditated, and all the information that I know today came to me from the universe herself. And you want to know what she told me? She said, save her children, because that's the latest extension of our species, the latest extension of her. So don't come for my spiritual journey now, nigga. See, you was trying to come at me for coming for somebody else. Now you doing the same thing for me. Now I know you ain't meditated today. I'm out here trying to push the earth's truth, universal law. And I can't tell if you a masculine or not, but if you a brother, you supposed to be pushing universal law. That vessel is for you to enforce and protect. So meditate on that. Meditate on what that vessel is for. Because if it's 6 ether, it's not going to be here much longer. And I'm saying that respectfully because that's what's happening. Y'all are called Caucasian because the Asian predates you, but look at the Asian. They're sterile, no longer reproducing. Eukaryotic organism, that cell is breaking down. Plants, animals, everything is being restored, which means that y'all have to get the fuck off of our planet.
Facts.
That's not racism. That's understanding thyself.
Yep. That's
Nigga,
that's
you don't
understanding
come
the
from
divine
mother.
order.
You don't come from no star system as a sulfur and an ammonia-based being, bro. They know that. You're top scientists and historians in the world. Already, they don't even talk about evolution. Them niggas know evolution never happened. Historians and I'll say / scientists like David Wilcock will tell you so-called black people are the only people that evolved from Earth's evolution. He don't even know where he came from. But then there are Dravidian professors with 1,300 publications. 800 of them is related to integration and hybridization. He's even telling his own people that they are here through somatic parthenogenesis. These are your top scientists in the world.
Wow.
These are the same people that manipulated Henrietta Lacks cells.
Yep.
They told David I just want to say this one thing. They told David Wilcox that if he says anything about Simeon Toku, that they would unalive him. Look at him 9 years ago and then look at him 4 months ago when he did that live, and tell me, was that nigga brain not grafted? Like, what the fuck? He was sitting there in the video saying, they want me to say this. Excuse me. They told me to say, who is they? That's not David Wilcock no more. And he's sacrificed that vessel. He's a eukaryotic man. It was bound to happen anyway, but respect. You see what I'm saying? For that, to let BLK people know that all of our men are Simeon Tokus. Simeon Toku told you that it would be more of him. Every last one of y'all are him. Y'all are composed of the same thing genetically. So getting back on topic, we are all the same genetically. Just because Africans have a different type of antigen than you because they were colonized differently than you, does not mean that they are different than you. There's something that is surrounding their cells known as antigens. There's something that they're feeding known as parasites. So your blood types are referring to the type of antigens and the amount that you have.
And it's all connected to animal DNA.
Facts.
Every single animal has those blood types.
Yeah.
So O blood types, zooborn chimps, A and B and O, rhesus monkey, babonus, they all have these blood types.
And alkaline, like
We
you
only
can
have
come up here.
sunblood.
You can come up here instead of just, you know what I'm saying? It's much better to come up here and express your frequency, even if it is 6 ether, than it is to just type. And that's just facts. What about Puerto Ricans, hybrids? That's what we were just explaining. You see what I'm saying? They are here through electrical fusion. He's confusing the soul with the spirit. Everything living has a spirit, y'all. Everything is energy, electricity. You see what I'm saying? But what kind though? Who did it come from? Source energy though? No. So even down to a quantum level, these niggas have tried to manipulate and play so-called God, which is the black woman. Look up photons through a quantum loop and tell me what you see. That's the sparker of the universe right there.
Shows you that life is immortal, eternal.
And who is that on a quantum level? Protons and electrons. Many black women and men
Yep.
bonding together through fusion, which is what they tell you in the Big Bang Theory. See, it's not a theory if that's what happens in the so-called gestation period with the so-called black woman. The Big Bang Theory takes place. It's not a theory. And they have classified it into 7 steps and said that in the 4th stage, that's where it begins to be conscious of thyself. But it was conscious in step 1 for the atoms to fuse together. Come on. You got to know thyself. You sitting here telling me, oh, I know that I come from there, but you haven't told me where though. I can tell you exactly where I come from. And that I'm native to all land masses and that my people were along the coastlines of all land masses.
Yep. All these cities that we living in right now, they're all forests. That's why you see all these animals. This is their domain. So-called black people, like she just said, we lived along the coastline near the water. Because water is the natural transducer of electricity. That's what it is. You see what I'm saying? And we were just living with the water and the sun. We didn't live in the forest where all of these animals are at. They pushed us in. Why though? See what I'm saying?
What do you mean came here messing stuff up, big banging stuff? I don't know what that means. But oh, okay. I know I was just asking what does it mean because I didn't understand it. But Shine, you see what I'm saying? It's a whole lot that you have to uncover about your genetics which relate to your etheric body. You see what I'm saying? You're explaining to me the spirit. You're not explaining the soul. So, go ahead, Nikki. Welcome up.
Hello, how you guys doing today?
Abundance.
Abundance. I was on your live a couple of days ago. I just had a question. Because I am both Haitian and African. I wanted to know, how would you know specifically if you're a 9-ether being?
All so-called black people are 9-ether because they stem from the totipotum stem cell, which the BLK woman is the only carrier of that. So when it comes to divine masculine and feminine energy and that fusion, that manifested in the physical as the so-called black woman. And that's that.
But I
And I'm
asked,
saying it like that, but I'm putting it in layman's terms. So as long as your mother is BLK, no matter where she is in the diaspora, no matter the ethnic name that they created, you are your mother's child. That's that you. So
Because you
is your
gotta,
mother? I don't. Yeah, the title does
yeah,
nothing for me.
that's
Is
what I
your
was gonna
mother?
say.
Yeah, is your
Oh
mother
yeah,
okay?
we've never had any mixed in our family. It's all generations are all black women and black men as well. I
Yeah.
only asked that because knowing that basically being Haitian as well, we come from the Taino people, so and Arawakan people. So it's like we still have indigenous blood, but we were still of melanin. We were still melanated.
That's all of these titles, like we were saying, all of these titles are just depicting the golden original organic race of the planet. That's all it's depicting. African, Native American, Mayans, Olmecs, the all of these different names that they given us is all depicting one group of people, one group of people that had a global civilization on the planet.
Oh, thank God.
You see what
Thank
I'm
God.
saying? We had a global civilization. And like I said it earlier, we have there's pyramids all over the globe that was built by us, like stop signs.
Yeah.
You
okay,
see what I'm
but when
saying?
I said I'm Mexican, I'm Aztec, and then you guys not honor or respect that because you're like my dad's
Right,
black.
because
Because we
y'all were
can
classified
I'm
under these
Aztec.
names. Y'all were classified under these names with us. But again, who's the mother?
My mom's Aztec. Like I said, she's Mexican from
What kind
Aztec.
though? How does she phenotypically present? Does her hair grow to the sun?
So,
Does she
like I said,
biosynthesize?
so what happened once upon a time, the Aztecs, my family, they came and they bred with the natives, right? My mom's Mexican side, and because of after like
just like
world whatever, right? So they came up here, right? My family last name is Martinez. They changed it to
This is
Martin
not how genetics works.
yeah,
when they
hold on.
came, no, when they traveled and they came to America, they changed it to Martin because they thought it was more acceptable.
I
But I
understand.
come from
Right.
the Aztec family, the star system, like I
I
told you guys.
understand. That's not a star system.
You're talking
No,
about
the Aztecs are.
look,
Do
all
you
you're
know
talking
how much people we
You're talking about names. You're talking
Yeah.
about all of these things that don't pertain to the actual genetic facts. You see what I'm saying? You were never the Aztecs. Just like these $5 Indians were never the real Indians here. You see what I'm saying? Y'all were never actually the original people of the landmass. You don't biosynthesize the sun. Native American, Mexican, all of that is just titles. That is just titles. When you go in nature and you see these scientists call a lion a lion doesn't know that it's called a lion. It's living according to its genetic makeup. An
Facts.
elephant is the same way. You're just calling it an elephant. You're just calling us black. You're just calling us Mayans. You're just calling. We're done. What does your genetics say? And our genetics say that we're the sun, literally walking in the flesh, and we were wherever the sun touches on the planet, and we had a global civilization. You see what I'm saying? Y'all were never here, and we could tell by your phenotype that you have animal DNA. You see what I'm saying? We could tell by your phenotype that you're not one of us, that you don't share our phenotype, that you have mixed animal DNA. We could tell that. So we could clearly see that y'all are not organic to the planet.
Literally. And it's no hate speech or nothing. I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying? But genetics is the answer to everything because these titles are indeed made up, right? These people were truly seated here. That's what eukaryotic means. So 6,000 years ago, it is a fact known globally that you people came out of the caves on all fours with hypertrichosis, vestigial tails, unable to speak and reproduce. Okay? 4,000 years ago in the 12th dynasty, right? There were no mixed people. Y'all are the newest species because race does not matter and it is not biological and it is also theoretical. It was created by the same people who created religion.
Facts.
It's the same bloodline. It's the same eukaryotic cell, eukaryotic organism.
So just 4,000 years ago, this whole planet was just so-called black people. How did we get here today?
Facts.
And then we're supposed to be mating naturally. How did Brazil get wiped out? How did Australia get wiped out? How did Egypt get wiped out? All through venereal diseases, zoonotic
Wow.
disease and hemolytic disease.
Facts. Red blood cell hemolysis is being invoked when your parents, and
Let's
I'm not
talk.
trying to step on toes. I'm putting this in layman terms because people be asking questions in the chat. Red blood cell hemolysis, when two different species procreate, one species looks at the other species as a foreign object and it begins to attack because they are not the same species. Hemolytic disease and red blood cells hemolysis does not happen amongst the same species. So even when we look at Neanderthals, Homo sapiens, Homo floresiensis, all of them, they don't even have the same, they're not even the same amongst themselves.
Yep, y'all don't pass when y'all pass down memory, because that's all reproduction is when y'all pass down memory to make a whole new organism. Y'all don't pass down. Y'all don't do that. It's called incomplete dominance. Because the animal percentages, the percentages of animals that y'all have in y'all vessels vary. So when y'all reproduce, y'all make a whole new organism each time, a whole new species each time. That's why y'all have to be very careful about who you procreate with.
Yep.
So-called black people, we're the same.
Is
We're
that
all
why
the
we have
same
memory in our
genetically. You see what I'm
DNA?
saying? And you don't see elephants procreating with elephants and then seeing hemolytic disease. You don't see lions procreating with lions and seeing hemolytic disease. You don't see that. And they make replicas of themselves. Y'all don't make replicas of yourselves. You see what I'm saying? Two so-called white tea people, when they procreate, they can make a whole different child. You see what I'm saying? That looks completely different than them. So-called black people, we make replicas of ourselves.
Mitochondria, DEA.
You see what I'm saying? So this is just genetic facts.
The deoxyetheric acid is the neuromelanin. That is etheric. That is ether. That is the sun in the flesh. That's interstellar gases and nanodiamonds. So it's a whole lot of science that can back up this shit that's theoretical today, like race and ethnic groups.
And you're talking about, and people talking about show proof. All of the key words that I'm saying, y'all can go look it up.
Like, what the fuck?
You see what I'm saying? So
go Google the words.
You see what I'm saying? So hemolytic disease is just when your red blood cells start to deteriorate more than they're reproducing, and that thins out your blood, and that means the nutrients can't flow to your brain and nowhere else. So your body start to fall down, and you start to unalive. This is what started to happen to our women when we started to procreate with everybody outside of us.
Okay. But then why are some of us born with supernatural gifts that this world puts you in labs and experiments on you on?
Right, because y'all have the cell that can be spliced.
Yeah, they abduct y'all. They abduct y'all, and they take y'all and they take us for two completely different reasons.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? Because we have two different cell types. Your cell type, your cells can be spliced into, because the only way you can cut into a cell is with UV light. So they can cut into your cells and take genetic information out or chromosomes out, or put or take genetic information in or chromosomes in. You see what I'm saying? This is what they can do, but with our cells, they can't do that because our cells are coated in neuromelanin, which is UV light. So when you open UV light with UV light, it just absorbs itself like a black hole, as above, so below. So our cells act just like a black hole. Your cells behave like animals. This is why they take a lot of animals, and you see a lot of cow mutilations and all of these things, because they're splicing animals too. How do you think they get to you? You see what I'm saying?
But like I said,
animals and insects and plants before they got to y'all. So y'all are.
Can I tell you guys the beginning of creation? The beginning of creation, right before we even said we were going to come to Earth, before we even made an agreement with the Ultra
You can't
High.
come to Earth if you. Okay, so then I'm back at square one with you, Shine. What star system? What planet? Where in the cosmos do you come from? You're off the app, so I can't hear you. When you're off the app, we can't hear you. I don't know if you got a call, because you're saying when we came here. Who? You either need a suit or neuromelanin to navigate the cosmos.
Exactly.
Did y'all come here in suits 4,000 years ago?
And we don't want to hear your papers to the land. We want to know your biological and genetic identification to the planet.
Right, because I gave you mine.
That's what we want. If you don't have that, then you're going to have to move aside.
That's the Thank you.
And and hold on, we didn't even. She left. She left on her own.
Shay,
You see what I'm
go
saying?
ahead.
Like, come on, bro. We want the DNA identification, the biological identification, the genetic identification. We done with IDs. We done with driver license. We done with all that. We want the real biological identifications. You see what I'm saying? We done with y'all policing us on your planet. Y'all just animals wearing police suits, wearing slave catcher suits, monkey suits. If you look up, if you look up suits, the suits that these people wear in corporate jobs is literally monkey suits. It's literally called monkey suits. Monkeys wearing monkey suits, and y'all going to their jobs and working for them wearing they monkey suits, listening to these monkeys. That makes no sense on your own planet. So we done with all that shit. What is your biological identification to the planet? And also called black people, we biologically identify with the planet. The sun feeds us, the earth feeds us through terrestrial radiation and solar radiation. And we do that through black body radiation under our integumentary system. So we don't want to hear no semantics. Let's talk the real shit.
So I keep seeing people ask, how do I get mine? How do I look? Okay. This is not like something where you go get a lab, like you go to a lab and get results, y'all. We not talking about that. When I say your biological identification or what you are composed of genetically, I'm talking about hydrogen, carbon, helium, nitrogen, and oxygen, y'all. That is the same thing that the earth is composed of. Everybody outside of our species is sulfur and ammonia based. There is no star. There is no planet. Every planet turns into a star that these people could identify with being a sulfur and an ammonia based being.
And that's the chemical base for neuromelanin. That's all it is. And that's what we are. That's our identity. You see what I'm saying? So I don't understand why we need anything else. We don't need to find, that's what we need. We don't need to go do a DNA test. You see what I'm saying?
DNA tests were created because y'all are incomplete dominant. So we don't even know who the fuck is who.
Yeah.
That's also why your people, again, I need to pull up them sources too about the sexual dimorphism. The fuck? And then they were talking about how where we were like, where could that shit have come from? Why was it a thing? They're talking about hunting and gathering. Issues with hunting and gathering, they couldn't tell who the fuck was who. So then they related it back to bipedalism. So they're trying to say that the reason why these people walk up straight today is because of them needing to gather tools. Mind you, they struggle with stone for 2 million years.
So-called 2 million years.
And again, I can't remember the exact point, but again, the point that I was making about sexual dimorphism, for those who don't know what that is, that's when you can't tell who is who. Literally,
you can't tell if that's a male or a female, because the animals that these people are spliced with, the animals that they're spliced with can have a female. It could be a female. It could have been a female cow. It could have been a male dog. It could have been a male fruit fly. And then the other side of them is crazy. You see what I'm saying? And that now when they reproduce and make a child, it's called sexual dimorphism. You all can look it up.
And when you see that in nature, you only see that with eukaryotic animals and plants. That does not come. And this is the reason why they push the whole transgender. This is the reason why they do that. And it's all to cover up their lie. If they can push their narrative on you as much as possible, they will do it. Because it is a proven fact that when you feed your neuromelanin like a eukaryotic organism, and you can read What Makes Black People Black by Dr. Layla Africa. I always talk about the 5th page. It tells you by a doctor himself that is neuromelanated that when you act like a Caucasian, it diminishes the production of neuromelanin. It slows it down. There's no way that they can stop the production, right? But they can create all of these things to slow down the production, which is what the matrix and the system and working and school and programming and poisoning the food, poisoning the products. Just for them to poison products, there is a science known as molecular gastronomy. Down to the types of chefs that are in the kitchen, there's a science behind this. That's how powerful you are. Exactly. It goes deep, y'all.
And
It
we're
goes
Let me
not
to
we're
ask
not
y'all
the only
something.
we're not the only intelligent life forms on the planet. You see what I'm saying? There's extraterrestrial beings that splice these people into existence. You
mm-hmm.
see what I'm saying? We didn't do this because they tell you, everybody's like, oh, the next Anunnaki is us, Anunnaki. No, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Anunnaki means just those who came from above. And these beings created a slave race, and you can clearly see in the Sumerian text how they had these
Yeah,
eukaryotic species on leashes.
leashes.
When these people came out of the caves, they were on leashes. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So they made a slave race to mine gold. Who's the golden race? We're the golden race. And we literally produce gold. All of these natural resources that come out of earth, we do it too. Because we biologically identify with the earth. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I want our people to know, that that's what is getting to be revealed on the
Yeah,
planet, is
that's
the
what's
fact
coming
that there's
out.
other extraterrestrial life that has been on the planet for a long time. There is no alien invasion. They've been here.
Yeah, they've
You
been
see what
here.
I'm saying? And you can go look at the Sumerian text, go look at Zechariah Zenchen, which is their historian, all telling us how they were spliced into existence. And that's what truly seeded, that's what eukaryotic means, truly
To see
seeded
the
nucleus.
yeah. I just wanted to let other
That's what
people
I wanted.
speak.
That's what I wanted to say.
Go ahead, son of God.
So I wanted to ask you guys a question. There's this YT woman going around, and she was taking like melanoma pills or something, some type of pills prescribed to her from her doctor, and then her skin started to turn darker, her eyes started to turn darker, her hair started to get a little kinky or curlier and stuff, and she feel like she's a black woman now. What do y'all think about that? I forget her name, Rachel Dozer.
Wait, what did you
So
say?
so she said it's a white woman taking pills for melanin, and now she's getting darker, and she thinks she black.
Nah, that's not how it works.
That's not actually how that works, and
Works, right?
it's making her cell. It's actually breaking her down.
Yeah.
But I don't actually. I'm gonna have to do research on that particular pill itself, but because I need to see what it's composed of. We know that she's pheomelanated, so I need to know what is the synthetic composition that they're using, because that's just a chemical reaction, but it's not natural. You can't just take pills and all of a sudden you're black. Like,
Right.
you have to produce that naturally. It has to come from your pineal gland, and it's nothing that you can put in your body and then think that that's who you are now.
And the same thing the sun does to them is the same thing our anatomy does to them. You see what I'm saying? So they can't. They're gonna undergo acute body radiation if they try to consume anything of us. They think that
Oh,
sunscreen actually blocks them from the sun, but it actually gives them more acute body radiation. You see what I'm saying? And that deteriorates their anatomy. So
Yeah.
their body is gonna deteriorate regardless. It doesn't matter. That's why you see some people are unaliving now, but some people are still alive in the eukaryotic species. But that doesn't mean that they're not absorbing all of that radiation and their body's not deteriorating. You see what I'm saying? That's why they age like so-called milk. You see what I'm saying? This is facts. This
They
is
have cow
genetics facts.
DNA, and that's not that, you know what I'm saying? That's not a joke, that's a fact. But I'm putting up on the screen something, and I want y'all to pay attention to. Give me 1 second. You see this? This is what sunblock looks like under a UV camera.
Yep.
right.
You would never know that that woman is using unintentional. She doesn't even know that that's unintentional blackface. You see what I'm saying? That's how that. You see what I'm saying? So when I heard you say that about the pills, this is the first thing I thought about. You see what I'm saying? You can't just lather something on top of you and think you are that. You need
Right.
to be able to biosynthesize the sun naturally.
Facts.
You shouldn't need something
Nah.
to put on your skin to help you biosynthesize, and it's still not biosynthesization, because of everything that you are composed of, all of that mucus, those mucus membranes, that porcelain skin, right? Is It's combusting on the inside when the sun is actually trying to heal them. But when it hits their skin, they begin to combust on the inside. That's known as acute body radiation.
Yeah, and
Wow.
it tears apart their DNA strands that holds which is the nucleus that holds their genetic information together.
So
You see
they
what I'm
have
saying?
it
Because
like
their genetic
Nah.
information doesn't naturally hold on to each other. They're
Mm-hmm.
linear. But
Mm-hmm.
so-called black people's genetic information is like chains. You see what I'm saying? It's linked together. You see what I'm saying? It's the same information, but their information is not the same. So it has to be fused together. You see what I'm saying? So the
Right.
animals can ask for what protein they want for better cellular structure.
Hmm. So that's when they have those electrical combustions where their body kind of explode from the inside out, you know?
Yeah, that's a charge of spontaneous combustion. They can't hold etheric energy.
Wow, that's deep. So
But
they
go
can't.
ahead. Oh, my bad, y'all. I just wanted to introduce the next guest. Go ahead, Omo Valley.
Yeah, what's up, guys? How you guys doing? I was looking at the panel, hearing a bit what you guys saying. Seems like America's got a real colorism issue over there, but I was seeing that you're saying genetically black people across the continent are the same, which is I disagree with that. We are actually genetically diverse. With in Africa, there's a less admixture of European DNA in some parts of the region, not all parts, but yeah, it seems
So
this whole.
explain to us the genetic differences between black people across the diaspora.
Yeah, can you
Oh
do
yeah,
that?
100%. Yes, 100%. The thing is, you know that when you do mix with other admixtures, that you do also attribute them like African Americans are about like 60%. Some of them, give or take. Africans are less than that. Australian Aboriginals or something else. Some Africans that went to Iraq during the Arab slave trade, they almost have Arabic DNA now. They don't look anything like an African. So it
But can
does
you
change.
explain it to us genetically, scientifically, and biologically? Because that's what we're doing. That's what we're talking about.
And you're
So,
and you're talking about the effect of things that happen on the planet. You're not
right,
talking about the
about the
cause.
cause.
So that allows manipulation to take place. So can you just tell us
Oh yeah,
biologically,
there's a cause,
genetically,
obviously.
how so-called black people all over the globe are different?
How all over the globe, as I just told you, when they start to mix with other tribes and ethnicities, their body starts to change.
Who
Some of
is
them,
they?
like
Ooh, hey.
And can you explain it
if a black
scientifically and genetically,
person,
please?
like if a black person went to Arabia, married with an Arabian people and had children, his children would most likely, his genes would change, not fully, but it'll be it'll change.
But how did that Arabian get on this planet? How did white people get on this planet? How did Asian people get on this planet? Because 4,000 years ago, before that, there was no mixed children. You see what I'm saying? It was just black people all over the planet. And black people biologically identify with all land masses. So I just wanted to know, what was the genetic and biological differences?
Or for the Caucasian man, or are you talking about
No,
the
No,
between, because
with what you said.
from
With
your
what you said.
from your statement that you came in here saying, you
oh
said that
not naturally, yeah, we had to
so-called
mix.
African American and Africans are different. They're not the same genetically. So we want you to explain that to us genetically.
Okay, so yeah, naturally they are, but due to mixing, yeah, you're correct. Like due to mixing and stuff like that, really. But
So you're
I
Okay.
mean,
talking
like,
about
So can I
influence.
just address something once for a second? Because you came in here saying, listening to the panel, America has a real colorist problem, and then you proceeded to push YT ideology by saying that we're genetically different. Do you see an issue with that? Or do you see what I'm saying?
yeah, I hear what you're saying. I'm speaking as for today. I didn't know you were speaking about in the past, but
No, we're talking about
today,
today because these people are still on the planet today and we're having this discussion, correct?
or
Yeah.
even on the continent today, we're still very diverse. And from North Africa to South Africa to East Africa, it's even more mixing now
Because of what?
of colonialism.
Okay, and that and are were we the colonial people, or do we
Uh,
just go back to the stars?
I think I'd like to say in some parts we did attribute it, but
Right, but you came in here saying America,
oh yeah, America.
right, has a problem with colorism,
Yeah, 100%.
right? And were we all not colonized?
Can I put this for you, Skywatcher?
Answer
Like,
the question, bro.
what was the
Just answer the
question? You're saying
question
are
so
we
we can
not
have
all
a
colonized?
conversation.
Yeah, of course, colonized. That doesn't mean other people on the continent are not colonized either. They're colonized.
I think he's denying the authentic blackness of people who was, when these white tea people grape their way into our bloodline. He's saying that we're so mixed now, we're not what are you trying to say? Are we not black anymore? Are we not? Will we understand like
No, I'm just
full
saying
blood?
your genes would be a little bit different from people who have not mixed.
Our genetic information cannot be changed. You cannot splice into so-called black people's DNA unless you can tell me how to splice into neuromelanin and how they took that out. Then you can't make that statement. So I'm really just trying to know, like, what is the genetic differences? Because you're talking about the cause, you're talking about the effects of antigens, of how they colonize us differently on different continents. So I was gonna ask, do you think black people are just were just in Africa, or do you think black people were all over the planet?
Well, I mean, no, we're like in the Aboriginal people. We've got like, I'd still consider Indians black, but that's up to them.
What?
Hold on. Laughs and giggles. Come back up here if you can. As a so-called black man, bro, I need you to come back up here because that's wild. He's saying, bro, they act like white people raped everybody. They raped a couple of people. Like, who the fuck?
Are you serious?
Who the fuck justifies grape? Get your ass back up.
Yeah,
As a grown ass man, as a fellow son, get your ass back up here on the panel, bro.
And y'all need to get a book called When Grape Was Legal, when they used to grape our women down to where they were 3 years old. You see what I'm saying? Y'all should really see what these people were doing to us. Just like you can go grab a bag of chips at a gas station, this is what they were doing with our so-called black women throughout the whole entire planet. Y'all don't understand. This is why y'all just saying things, because y'all don't really understand what happened on this planet.
Y'all
Genetic.
acting like
You see what I'm saying?
y'all acting like they was raping all the women.
Yeah, you don't understand. You saying they didn't do it?
I know
Like,
women
why
was getting
you
raped,
trying to
but
justify it?
it was black men that was still
Why
making
is
babies with
another
black women too.
species?
Period.
Look,
Don't be acting
hold
like
on,
they
brother.
just
Why are you trying to justify another species trying to mix their DNA with our species?
justify.
Why are you trying to justify that,
No, that's what you said. I ain't say that.
Nigga,
bro?
What I'm
Alright.
saying
this
is
is why we
y'all
got you.
acting like
Abundance for
y'all
Abundance,
gratitude,
man.
bro.
Abundance for
Like,
that.
it's just,
But
bro, like, fuck,
again, so-called black people, we existed throughout the entire planet. Only 4,000 years ago, mixed children became a thing. You see what I'm saying? Only 4,000 years ago. People didn't even hear of that. So it's just like, I'm just trying to understand is like, how do we not understand that there's an inorganic species on the planet while we're arguing with each other and they're snatching our children, and we're sending 25 million of our children every rising to get psychologically evaluated by these people, and then 8 million of our children worldwide go missing on every continent. And we talking about, oh, I don't even think that these people are us, this, but you can't tell us the genetic differences. And then I'm just
No,
addressing
I
both of them at
wasn't,
the same time. You feel what I'm saying?
I
I'm
wasn't trying to
addressing
call you
this
like
brother
not
and the
black.
other brother.
Hey, yo, but what
You know what I'm
laughs
saying?
though, the only reason we had to experience that is because they did that to our entire fucking planet.
Thank
You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't have had to experience that and bring it through our families and generations if they didn't do it to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, what was that?
But like, you don't understand, laugh and giggles, that we've been falling in frequency for so-called 300,000 years, bro. So if you telling me that's something that happened 3,000 years ago, bro, like, you're still talking about us in this low frequency. You got to understand, bro, the moment these people were created, it was a problem.
Facts.
The moment that the tree of life, when they were cut down, we shrunk in frequency. Everything is about frequency, bro. You have to understand this is the lowest frequency that our anatomy will take. That's why it's shutting down. That's why it's shutting down. The totipotum stem cell can no longer be used and manipulated for inorganic life.
Yep, to generate inorganic life
Facts.
and inorganic system.
That's the part that we play in
an
it.
inorganic
You know what I'm saying?
calendar, an inorganic time.
Shine was talking about, oh, we're being snatched because we have gifts too. No, y'all are being snatched to try to create a gift because you have this cell that can be manipulated and spliced. While our women and our children who carry the most abundant totipotum stem cells literally are used to spark that experiment. You're here through electrical fusion. of animals that cannot naturally reproduce with themselves and that don't biologically identify with the planet. A cow cannot procreate with the chicken. A pig cannot procreate with a fruit fly. Celery can't procreate with the
Banana.
wombat. Like, come on. And if you're eating chicken, pig, cow, eating any type of products, eating kale, cruciferous vegetables, carrots, and you're a so-called black woman or man, you need to stop. Because just because it is here and has benefits does not mean that it is beneficial to your vessel. Doesn't mean that it aligns with the genetic material that you're composed of. So when we say that you're hydrogen, helium, carbon, oxygen, and nitrogen, and that's the same thing that the sun is composed of, you need to be eating of the sun. But you need to understand what comes from Earth's evolution, though.
Naturally.
So romaine, right? Mushrooms have high amounts. They're literally have high amounts of neuromelanin. I'm actually gonna do a video on that later. I'm actually gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna let everybody speak their last thing. I am gonna do a video later about mushrooms. They're very, very important to our genetic makeup. 90% of all plants are here because of mycelium and mushrooms. You see what I'm saying? They cut down 42 million trees a day. 42 million trees a day, but nobody talks about the mushrooms.
Yeah, they're not. When you look that up, they're not even trying to tell you how much mycelium they've been taking out the ground. They don't tell you that, and that makes up Earth, and that holds a lot of so-called neuromelanin.
Lots of facts.
Exactly.
Neuromelanin. When you can look up what are foods that are high in neuromelanin, and tell me what you see, and then go actually do the research on mushrooms because they low key trying to downplay them. You see what I'm saying? They modeled your World Wide Web after fungi, y'all, and the way that they communicate with each other. They modeled their army after ants. They took the helicopter from dragonflies.
Yep.
Now I have a question, and this is just a rhetorical question, right? If dragonflies are 300 or 235, 200, million years old, and they've been around longer than snakes and alligators, right? If elephants have been around for millions of years old, how come when I look at the eukaryotic species, plants and organisms, why does it say thousands? And again, when we're talking about evolution, it's explaining how we went from haploids to diploids. So it's explaining how do we go from being mainly prokaryotic organisms like elephants, right? Us is being so-called black men and women,
Autotroph people,
autotroph plants and animals, to all of a sudden having a eukaryotic cell. And it's not a scientist, a historian, or a geneticist in the world that can tell me how the eukaryotic cell got here. However, eukaryotic or eukaryote or eukaryotic means truly seeded nucleus.
So we went from biosynthesizing the sun to not biosynthesizing the sun. That sounds like going backwards.
That sounds like de-evolution.
And evolution only goes forward. So did we really evolve? We didn't evolve to y'all. It's just that simple.
And we don't have the same common ancestor either.
Exactly.
There's no way we can have the same. Then that means that then we're all the same species then. But they know that we're not, because we're not the same even on a cellular level. So mushrooms and fruits, y'all. Fruits, H3O2. When they say drinking all that water and shit, 8 to 10, they mean eating it, consuming it, right? Not just sitting there drinking because if you're consuming meat and you have clogged arteries, clogged meridians, brain fog, when you try to go to eat something healthy, it's not doing anything because it's too much clogged. Your arteries and stuff are clogged, y'all. So one salad doesn't do anything. 30-day fast does nothing for somebody that's been eating meat their entire life and their mother was too. You see what I'm saying? And so forth and so forth. So again, eat of the sun. Know what's eukaryotic and what's prokaryotic, and you can tell the difference by how those things function in nature.
Yep.
All right. A lot of people ask me that. You can tell by how the animal functions in nature and how they structure their families. You see what I'm saying? How they respond to their environment. Most prokaryotic animals and plants can thrive in multiple different environments.
And also how they reproduce. You see what I'm saying? And somebody said, "How does what do you think about lion's mane?" It's considered to be the smartest mushroom in the mushroom kingdom.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? So I would advise my people to tap into that.
We
You
eat
see what I'm saying?
mushrooms every day.
Oyster, mushroom, turkey tail, all of that is all good for you. It's
Yeah.
all for your genetic makeup.
Maitake, cordyceps. You see what I'm saying? But you want to stay away from baby bella, white mushrooms. You see what I'm saying? You can do portobello, but not white baby bella mushrooms. No shiitake mushrooms, right? I would advise get the book, The Divine Carbon.
Yeah.
That series, excuse me, it's a series. It's a 3-part series. The first book is only like 47 pages. The second book is like 80 pages. You see what I'm saying? Real easy to understand. And it breaks down the so-called Black anatomy from a quantum level all the way up through your anatomy. It talks about the soul, neuromelanin. It talks about the earth, how you biologically identify with it. You see what I'm saying? He's asking, what about lion's mane? He just asked you, answered it. So I don't know if it's a little slow. Lion's mane is the smartest mushroom.
Yeah, and all of these mushrooms, like we said earlier, hold a lot of neuromelanin because Earth is a planet. All these planets become stars later on. So, like my brother said, it helps rebuild neurons. It helps you undergo neurogenesis. And once you go under neurogenesis, now you can go under neuroplasticity, where you rewire your brain. You see what you reprogram your whole body because she was saying earlier where they got all of these things from, like the helicopter, and where they got the computer was from us, which is the liquid computer in our body, which is called neuromelanin. You see what I'm saying? That's where they got computers from. So you got to learn how to tap into that and listen to that voice inside. You see what I'm saying? And that will lead you to the path of evolution, because it will tell you what is confusion. It will tell you what is truth. It will tell you what is untrue. It will tell you everything. You just got to sit with it and become mentally strong within yourself. Just like you can become physically strong with weights. You see what I'm saying? You sit down and you actually you actually work out. You actually put your energy into it. You got to put your energy into listening to that voice and being sensitive to that voice, because that's all you're going to have. You see what I'm saying? There is no more time to talk about history, all of these things. We're going to be talking about genetics and the sun. And that's what it's coming down to. You see what I'm saying?
That's what this whole thing is about. I wanted to address Ether said definitely take lion's mane, eat and consume lion's mane. Don't take lion mane capsules that are used with cellulose and gelatin, which come from cows. All right. My granny texted me last night and sent me a picture of collagen. She was like, "Is this good to take?" I said, "That comes from cow's bones." And they tell you, it says grass fed and shit on the package. Yep. You see what I'm saying? So no, you can get vitamin D. You see what I'm saying? From the sun, from lots of different herbs as well. You can get lots of minerals from those little rambutan fruits. They're probably not in season right now, but they're in season like in the summer, the late summer into fall. Rambutans, they're small. They're like lychee, grape like fruits. 4 of those a day is 50% of your daily value of copper. Just 4. So you just got to know what to eat and what to consume based off of its structure and what you need.
And I wanted to say that your body sends signals to the earth of what nutrients you need. You see what I'm saying? That's why you see a lot of dandelions are all over in so-called Black neighborhoods. You see what I'm saying? They're all sprouting because most of our people have heart problems. So the earth is trying to give you food and herbs to heal yourself, but we're just walking over it. But it's coming to a time where you're gonna have to know that the food is right there on the ground. That's your grocery store. You see what I'm saying? That's what I want our people to get, is that we have to learn to be self-sufficient now. You see what I'm saying? That's what it is. And you gotta understand the herbs and the plants that are around you, because you don't even know they might be beneficial to you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you just gotta, you know what I'm saying? And the herbs, I'm gonna do a segment about herbs, y'all. My house is flooded with herbs. You see what I'm saying? You just gotta know which ones and how to use them, because herbs actually, they detox the body. You see what I'm saying? Your body does everything that it needs on its own, but there are certain things that detox, right? Our H3O2 fruits, the water that we get from fruits, that's structured water, which is the same thing as herbal tea. It's just adding structure to the water. Watermelon is structured water. right? The juice that it has. So
Yeah.
we should mainly be consuming fruits, y'all. I would say mushroom is I eat mushroom every day. I grow mushroom in my house, oyster mushrooms, right? And I drink herbal teas. I make my own juice. I don't consume sugar unless it's all natural sugar, agave, or I don't use honey because that's not vegan. That comes from bees.
Wait, I have a
Bees
question.
work for the. Go
I
ahead,
wanted,
bro.
yeah, I wanted to ask because you said that about college and like it's because it comes from cows, you don't want to consume that. So what do you eat?
So you see what I'm saying? I was just explaining what I was eating, and you cut me off.
We
Like
just
your
told you
And
what
diet?
we
we
just gave you a whole list of stuff this whole time.
people in the
Well,
So
comments
a
have
better
been
again,
interacting
question.
with
so
us.
again, I'm gonna say again, I grow mushroom, I
Hmm.
consume fruits and herbs. Right. I don't consume collagen supplements, which was the point that I was making. All right. But I seen that you came up here for a reason or you were disagreeing in the comments. Go ahead and I'm gonna have to wrap it up, y'all.
Yeah.
Cilantro is very good. Yeah, heavy metal detoxifier.
Yeah,
So you're
detoxify your
vegan?
body.
What?
Are you vegan?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That's fine then. I was like wondering that. I mean, because there is, studies for collagen that show that it does help with many things like joints and stuff. So,
Yeah, for
um,
who though?
for people,
For eukaryotic people, anytime they're referring to humans, they're referring to all of their haplogroups.
Yep. When it enters our body, it strips our bone marrow of nutrients.
uh, I do you have a study for that?
I don't need to have a study for it. It's just simple genetics.
And I can
But
clearly,
that's
I can
I mean, you
see.
can you if you study the difference between organisms, you'll know that. You don't need a degree, a study, an experiment for that if you understand the function of cells.
but that's
Don't
called
But
don't waste
pseudoscience.
y'all
it's
energy
not
with him.
pseudoscience.
He on some
Prokaryotic
bullshit.
and eukaryotic is not pseudoscience. That's every fucking living thing that's here. It's either
Sure,
prokaryotic or eukaryotic.
Yeah.
He
sure.
trying to mess
That's
the
You
not
can't
love up.
deny
pseudo,
that.
bro.
But
He
what you're
trying to mess
talking
the
about
love up.
is,
We ain't gonna let him talk. You know what I'm saying? He trying to mess the love up. Y'all is flowing. Y'all gave so much jewels and gifts.
Yeah,
We
bro.
ain't
You
gonna let
came up
him
here
kind
to
of bring that in
disagree.
here.
I did
Yeah,
not come up to disagree. I was asking a question.
You're
you're
talking
I
asking
about
just
for
asked
a
for a,
study
asked,
and you're trying to tell me that what I'm saying
Yeah, get
isn't
him out of here.
factual.
well, if you don't have a study, what are you going off of besides
I'm going
feelings?
off of information and the study of cells and it's single
cross
cells
reference.
that make up organisms, correct?
So why don't you have a study for what you just said?
Instead, I don't have. Oh my! I'm gonna get you out of here, and I'm gonna just let you think about what you said. Abundance and gratitude. I
You can't
don't
argue.
need a
You can't argue with
study,
somebody
bro.
that ain't. Yeah, we can't do
Yeah,
that. Your
I
energy
don't
is
need a
already
study
good.
to go get a dandelion next door to me. I don't need to bring. I can, like, bro.
Like
I
I
can
need
look at nature and I can tell based off of what the organism is and go study that organism and how it functions based off of its cellular structure.
Some of y'all
That's
just
what's programming the organism, y'all. Single
Yeah, they don't want to
cells make
learn.
up organisms. Come on. We
All
discuss
you supposed to be
genetics in
doing
here,
is listening,
biology, anatomy.
listening,
for real.
listen. Just listen.
but not
That's all
even
you
just
gotta do.
that. I mean, throughout this whole thing, literally, we should have told people from the beginning to grab a book. I mean, some paper and a
A
pen to make
notepad.
notes.
Yeah, a lot of
No,
people do
it's
that.
no. Next
Hmm.
time, girl, I'm on your panel. I am doing that. Give me a paper and pen and take notes. All the
I've been
books.
writing.
Yeah,
I've been writing down ever since y'all been
Wow.
talking.
I
Thank you
got
for
my
bringing
Yeah,
the
notes.
go do
knowledge.
your
Abundance.
go do your research in abundance, but y'all gotta
For
do
sure.
research. That's the whole that
Yeah,
was the whole thing when we started out, remember? Know
yeah, and thank you
thyself.
for dropping the knowledge on the books as well that we can go get
Yeah, we
and
Absolutely.
Yeah.
appreciate both of
We
y'all
all
so
we
much
all have
too.
to know
It's
this
all love,
knowledge.
y'all.
You see what
We
I'm saying?
appreciate y'all.
That's what it is. We all have to know this knowledge so we can pass it down to the next generation and we can remove ourselves from this mental prison that
and
we
you
in.
guys already brought up that soon we're not gonna have a choice but to know those things because we might be off the system for a while.
We will
We're
be,
done with
and
the
we should be.
system.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we will be.
The
Yeah, we
blackout.
will be
The black
yeah,
for
I'm
system.
talking
sure.
about the
Okay,
I'm
good
talking about the
night.
blackout. I'm talking about the blackout.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we should
facts.
be out in nature. We gotta be. We
Yes.
gotta be knowing what's going
And
on
then
with the
also,
ciphers.
like you were saying, the cellular structure of everything, like they literally replicate it. And so that's why they think that all those other supplements are natural when it's like they're literally replicating the natural supplement. You don't need scientific studies to know, like you're saying, like if the cellular structure matches and benefits our molecular structure, of course we don't need science to prove that.
Facts. You don't need a whole study to tell you about. You can go research and read books on eukaryotic and prokaryotic organisms. And you're asking for a simple study. I guess you don't know what the word study means because you're asking for a theory that was tested or a hypothesis that was tested. That was the study that was done. I don't need to test anything to understand something's function. I can just go study the function. Just like when you want to learn how to fly airplanes, you go to school for that. You see what I'm saying? But you're learning everything that encompasses. But it's not a single thing that can just tell you how to do that. It's a collective amount of research that you have to, you know what I'm saying? It's not one thing.
You're not gonna learn it in one day to learn how to
Yeah.
fly a plane. You gotta learn everything about it. You gotta learn the inner mechanics, just like you gotta learn the inner mechanics of you, so you can learn the inner mechanics of everything outside of you. That's called alchemy. See what I'm saying?
Facts. That's it.
That's
It's
man.
not mysticism or nothing. It's just simple. Understanding atoms and energy. Once you understand it, you can and electrons, right? Once you understand it, you can manipulate it. That's what they did. That's what they're doing. We sleep and don't understand that that's what they're doing is manipulating energy that is already here. They're not creating anything. You see what I'm saying? They can copy, they can use us to spark life to copy, but they cannot create. They can only replicate or copy what we do in nature. Imagine creating helicopters after fucking dragonflies. Them tough ass insects. Like what the fuck? I would copy them niggas too. You see what I'm saying? So you have to understand your computer, your neuromelanin, they built the computer off of that because they studied you. So when we're talking about you know what I'm saying, the studying that they did is very fucking primitive. You see what I'm saying? They were graping children as early as 3 hours old because they thought that they could feel a O. You see what I'm saying? And these are the people that you want to procreate with. You still want to keep their system going. You still want to work for them. You still want to how do you that's what I want to know. Like, why do we want to keep their system going? Why do we think putting a black faces in there and so-called black faces, right? In their system, how does that fix anything when the system was designed for our destruction? You put your face on your own destruction and now that somehow makes you feel better about your trauma? Or does facing it make you feel better about who you are? Because then that's at the time that's when you begin to know thyself. You didn't do this to you, right? So when YT people come in here and they're like, oh, you're not taking accountability for what? Grape? Venereal disease? That didn't come from my people. You see what I'm saying? Who was the original slave race? It wasn't my people. We were already here. And your scientists that look just like you are saying that. So ask your counterparts why they're building bunkers. They think a bunker, and no pun intended, but there is not a bunker in hell that can save you niggas, bro. Radiation penetrates everything. So while Elon Musk is doing that dumb shit, ask him why he has a bunker. Ask him.
And why he building robots.
Why are you building robots if you feel so secure and if we're all descendants of slaves? That means that you're saying we all have the same common ancestor, but you was just on all fours with tails, unable to speak, reproduce even with you. Like, come on, bro.
So where are you trying to transfer your consciousness
Facts.
to? You see what I'm
That's
saying?
what I'm saying, bro. That's why they created these
They're trying
robots.
they're trying to transfer their consciousness into robots because their
The
suit is not going to
robots.
be able to be to walk under the sun. They're not going to be able to do that. And
Yes.
that's why they're practicing Neuralink. They're doing all of these things but all of that is gonna shut down. Nothing electric it's time for magnetism to rise up, which is the feminine energy,
That's
which is
why.
that electron energy, which is that red oxide ionizing radiation.
Ionization.
You see what I'm saying? That's on the planet.
That's why you
That's
see
what's
red
happening.
skies in Florida. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ionization. We going back to our natural selves, but go
And
ahead.
remember, we all are computer chips. We all are computer chips. That's why you need a motherboard for a computer to work, and that we can all telepathically communicate with each other, the same way a computer can from across the world. We are all literally, basically, our own computer devices.
Right.
You were saying before, they did structure everything about a computer based off of melanated people.
Yes,
Mhm.
the most advanced
Yep.
technology on this planet.
So
And
everybody
remember, we
asking
got
what
to go
their
back to
purpose is.
communicating telepathically. Remember that.
We're our own
Yeah,
universes.
so everybody was asking what their purpose is and what they need to be doing. It's just knowing thyself. That's it. That's the number one rule in the whole universe. That's it. So that's all I wanted to say. But mhm.
Hey, yo,
So
we appreciate y'all. I appreciate everybody in here sending love and high vibrations and blessings to everybody. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all for spending this time on this joint, even breaking it down for us, and for staying up here and for kind of transmuting a little negative energy that did come through. You know what I'm saying? Sun God, I appreciate you. Nikki, appreciate y'all. I'm about to get out of here. Love.
abundance, y'all. I was just gonna say I put all 333 on the lights. Last time I checked, it was at 222 abundance. But I was just gonna tell y'all that I put all the lives on YouTube. Now the last live was really fucking tough, y'all. I think y'all should go check that out. The
Okay.
YouTube is on my platform. Denzel is gonna type in the chat. His YouTube, he just don't be promoting it like that. His shit has heat. Like mine, not even, you know what I'm saying? Like he has actual sources for stuff. But I think that my people can best grasp this this information through hearing the dialogue in real time. So we just have two different styles. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can, he's in the chat right there, Denzel. You can follow his. Then I'm
Okay.
putting all the lives on the YouTube. We both do. But yep, I'm about to get out of here. My granny asked me to cook her some vegan enchiladas, so I'm about to do that. And you know what I'm
Abundance to
saying?
everybody. Thank
Sending
you
you
for
guys
sharing
good
your frequency.
vibrations.
Appreciate
We
y'all.
have sources,
Abundance,
All
good
Star.
vibrations.
Since you're new, All Star, we post source. That's why I was telling them to go check the last live because it's screen recorded, babe. All the sources are there. We just didn't do that topic today, babe. Gratitude and abundance, y'all. End the transmission.